on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. That used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I had me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it, your homies on it. Y'all's the hater on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. That used to debate me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I had me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it, your homies on it.
Realest Podcast ever. We back. We on location, a very special location with some special friends. My absolute favorite episode we ever did prior, was it Politics as Usual? Was that what we called that last time? So I guess this is part 2. We are at the local district office for Councilman Curtis Jones Jr. We are at 59th and Market in the heart of West Philadelphia. He used to be in Roxborough, where I was a resident for about 10 years. I used to drive past his office all the time. They had the exterminator next door, and it was the councilman's office right there.
One-stop shop.
We also have our favorite state rep in the building, State Rep Morgan Cephas, representing the 192nd District of Pennsylvania.
Thank you. We are technically in the 192nd Legislative District as well, so just putting that out there.
So why is his office in your district? What's going on here?
Well, he's the local office. He's the local city council person.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
Get a
have.
little closer to the mic.
Oh, he's a local
There we
city
go.
council person.
The
Yes.
crazy part is I don't have headphones, but I knew.
You know.
But
Right,
I knew.
right.
You know what I mean?
Getting good at this.
Yeah.
Producer skills.
He has a larger district, so he represents maybe 160,000.
152,000 people. Wait a minute. 153,000. 54 birth rate.
Right. I represent roughly around 60,000. So each city council district has roughly about 3 or 4 state representatives in their district, but we're all collectively in the senatorial district and the congressional district.
Got it. Okay,
A lot
that
of
makes
big
sense.
words right there at the end.
All right, never mind.
The Centennial District, what was it?
The congressional district.
Congressional
The
District.
senatorial
There you go.
district.
There's a lot of big words at the end.
Yes.
Real quick, when you were in Roxborough, are you still overseeing the same thing you were when you were in Roxborough?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We went from Andorra to Market Street.
Okay.
West Philly, North Philly, 24th from Lehigh.
Okay.
So it's eclectic. You have to be able to code switch.
Oh, yeah.
When I go up Roxborough, I care about deer and antelope playing. When I come down here, every 28 days, somebody gets shot.
Right.
Absolutely.
No realities.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you got to be able to change.
You got to walk a fine line.
What? You
Yeah.
got to be schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Because when you up there, you get town and gown issues.
Right.
They care about people drinking too much and partying too hard. Down here, people are really in a sense of survival.
Absolutely.
Like every day, I got to get on that L.
Yeah, it's similar in a lot of our districts. I mean, a lot of our districts essentially is a microcosm of what's happening in Philly. We are a tale of two cities. Yeah. So in my district, I have homes up in Overbrook Farms and Green Hill that are selling for $800,000.
I was going to say $1 million.
Right. But then down here where I represent, we have 44% of a poverty rate. So, yeah.
They even have negative net worth, meaning
Right.
it costs more to tear them down than
Yeah.
to keep them up.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's how you ever see where houses just miss, they vanish.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived on a block like that on Cecil Street. What was that, the 2100 block of Cecil Street right off of 58th and Woodland. Lived on a block like that when we moved on the block, it was probably like 60% houses, and then after a while, it was probably 10% houses on that block.
Yeah.
Over time, the houses
You'll
would
see
just
a row home just
Yep.
like dandelion. Yeah, just
turn into a cookout spot.
Yeah. Little baby shower, baby gender reveal.
Put a banner up between the two houses.
Graduation party.
Exactly. Yeah.
Community gathering space. Is
Exactly.
What we call them.
Yeah, that's exactly what it become.
So we're here today to talk about a number of different things. Y'all are our favorite people, our favorite guests. We're in constant communication with y'all for a number of reasons, both pertinent and non-pertinent.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. We've become family over
Y'all
the
got a
last
budget.
few
We
years.
love y'all. You know what I'm saying?
So we got a few different things on the docket. I'm in no rush to get out of here. We can go as fast or as slow as y'all want to, but I want to make sure that we hit everything and that we talk about everything that is going on. Both politically, communal-wise, Philadelphia, national politics. I just want to hit everything because it's time for a refresh, because we've talked to so many different people in recent times, but it's more so like very specific to like different disciplines: business, bar and lounge business, restaurant business, artists, sports betting, yeah, all types of different stuff. But we gotta talk about the political and the city-based stuff today.
Morgan has notes, so it's about to turn.
She did research.
Yeah.
I didn't give her any
I
topics.
never know what you're going to want to talk about. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to talk about Elon Musk and his purchase all the way to the pothole up the street. So
Hey, no, that's real.
That's what it is.
I
So,
would, honestly, that's one thing in my life I wish I was a little bit better at was note taking. My mother was big on, because my mother was always in school, so she was real big on taking notes and always having your notes to go. Like I'm talking about like at 47, 48 years old, would go and get like college notes out to go back over something. And I was like, me, when it came to testing, I would just like, I hear it and I'll go take the test.
Right.
And I'd get like an 82, and that's great.
right.
I'm good with that.
Like, imagine if you could take notes.
82 with no notes is with it. And that's kind of how I was. I just never was I don't even know how to take notes. That's the craziest part. You know, there's a skill to taking notes.
Absolutely.
I do. It helps me to remember things. Like as you're taking notes, as you're talking through what topics you're discussing.
Honestly,
as you're
in a weird
researching.
way though, that's how I became like how people like, how do you remember all these lyrics? How do you remember all these numbers? I do it because I'm not writing it down.
Right.
You know, but I wish I was that.
You got like you have a callback memory.
her notes have arrows. Like if they ask this, come down here and like.
No. I'm like,
She got arrows on her notes.
and I'm like,
I'm just be prepared. I'm not good off the cusp. I like to write things.
I'm gonna shoot you some bell. I'm like your mom and like Morgan in that regard. I'm
you are.
I'm
You
a
definitely.
vigorous note taker. Like, and you know, over the years, it's benefited me because I can literally like, this is like my Bible here, like my notes in my iPhone. Like I take all my notes in there, segmented by category, topic, whatever, so I could put a keyword in, go back to it, find stuff, and it's really helped me out. And I developed that in college. High school, I was a terrible note taker. College, I became a really good, strong note taker. And I remember I had a journalism class, and we had to write something called an ethnography, which is basically like a semester-long paper about one particular topic or subset or a subculture of people. And I had to write this paper, and I chose skateboarding culture at the time when I was in college. And I literally shadowed somebody that a guy named Brax, I know Dan probably know him, that owned a skateboard shop in West Philly, 36 and Market. Owned a skateboard shop. He was friends with Stevie Williams, who owns DGK and AYC and all of that. One of the biggest skateboarders in the world from Philadelphia, from North Philadelphia. And I shadowed him my entire semester. And from every time I would go meet with him, vigorous notes. And I remember I had an assignment that I had to turn in, and it was like an outline. And I came and I did like an outline with the notes, and then I also did like in like a prose form or whatever like that. And my teacher, my semester,
You went to Central, right?
That's why you got to be prepared when you come here.
and I turned in my assignment, and I told the professor, I said, hey, I didn't know if I was unclear on the instructions. I didn't know if I needed to do this in note form or in prose form, so I did both. And she said, I found my overachiever, and hugged me. And literally, she ended up getting that paper that I wrote. I got the highest score in the class, and I ended up getting published in the Lehigh Valley
You got better
Journal.
than an 82?
Yes, I got like a 97 or something like that. Okay. And I got published in the Lehigh Valley something journal or whatever the heck it was. I got my paper published.
So I went to Overbrook. We don't have no notes.
I went to Seoul. We didn't have paper.
When you went to Brook, your notes was probably bring your knife.
Well, it was that, and
What year did you graduate from Brook?
But you got great one-liners, and that's where the dozens comes in from
we used to
Overbrook.
talk stuff to and from school.
The dozens. I was
And
watching
look,
Good
listen,
Times the other day, so I know what that means.
You could fight all you want. If you couldn't take that roasting, you was sent home.
Yeah.
And so that did help me in politics. Like, I do not let my opponent get one up on me. Like, what? Your mom?
Right.
I'm talking about your mother. Like, for real.
What? Your mom?
Your mama.
Oh, that's funny.
Come for him. So, but
Only reason I asked because my mother graduated from Brook. And
nice.
Yeah.
what year did she graduate?
My I graduated 66. She graduated 68.
Oh, I was definitely after them.
Yeah, for sure. But I remember she was saying how like the thing had gotten so bad at Brook that they had to close the something hallway. Do you know?
So 2 things happened at Overbrook. We had so many kids. You had 2 shifts. You had a 7 to 12 and a 12 to 5. I hated that. And then environmentally, they closed the 4th and the 5th floor because of asbestos tests. That's why we're trying to save Overbrook.
Absolutely.
As we
won't get reelected if we don't.
hell no, the alumni is strong.
They are.
You say trying to save Overbrook like it's about to be like
It's on the chopping block?
Well, during the
that's like a staple. Wilt Chamberlain.
yeah, but when you go from 1,000 kids to 400 kids,
Right.
Oh, that's a problem.
you gotta
That's a
keep the
problem.
lights on, heat the
Right.
building, and you don't ever. When I went to Overbrook, it was like a thing.
Right.
Like you ran track, you sung, you were
Played basketball?
You were a student. You were a student.
right. Now it's like damn, I got sentenced to Overbrook, and we can't have that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so we're reinventing Overbrook by bringing back the trades.
Absolutely.
There was wood shop, there was electric shop, there was auto shop. Ain't none of them shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
It's
to
almost like we're
and we didn't even plan to start here, but
I love that we
since
started
we're
here,
because
yes.
we don't really talk schools much on this show.
Yeah.
You know, just on a stream. Do you feel like the influx of like charter schools and everything like that has like hurt the public school system?
so
Because you the kids are going elsewhere.
So we talking real. This is the realest pod show ever, right? So if you listen to the school district and the unions, yes. If you listen to the parents,
the
who have
consumer.
to send their kids to a school,
The consumer.
because they don't want them hurt.
Yeah.
Environment matters, safety matters. Charter school is the best thing ever happened to them.
Got it.
Right.
So those are 2 different
Right.
things. But yes, if for every student that goes to a charter school, that's a slot that ain't paid for
At a public school.
Right.
But I do think it's a false narrative when they say public versus charter. One, they're offering different things, but it's all coming from the same pot of money. So as we're not investing in our public school system, we're not adequately investing in our charter school system either. But to the councilman's point, the parents are the consumer. So they are inevitably choosing. 70% of the kids in my district go outside of the public school system
So that
to
means
attend
some
school.
sort of private, parochial.
Absolutely.
Some charter
Some are
school.
sending them across the county line to Friends Central. I mean, they're looking for adequate options.
You know one thing I noticed driving the bus, and I don't even know if it was something I should have noticed. It's me. I pay attention to things. You're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Being up in Roxborough, when you drive the 9 and the 27 in the morning, going north, like going towards Plymouth Meeting Mall or going towards Andorra, it's all black kids going to Saul and going to Roxborough.
Yeah.
Then when you're coming down, like going south on the 9 or 27, it's all white kids going to Roman Catholic, going downtown to Friends Select. It's wild, the dynamic and how.
But the thing is, like, it's not even a new phenomenon. If you think about while we were growing up, we literally had to travel an hour to get to Central because
literally.
Overbrook was not an option for our families, and we couldn't afford to send kids to Friends. So, like, you had to travel how far to go to Saul because that school and
2 buses. The 65, 60,
Straight up
the
bridge, right?
65 and the 27.
Yeah, I remember when I was making my decision for high school. I went to Andrew Hamilton Middle School. They had a magnet program there, 57 Miss Spruce, and going there, you know, I was MG the whole 9 and all of that, but I basically had my pick of the litter because my grades were so high I didn't have to test into nowhere. Could have went to Central, could have went to Masterman, whatever. My mom's only requirement was that you're a young man, you figuring your life out, you're very smart, you know what you want to do. The only thing you can't do is go to a school with Bartram at the end or beginning.
That was my mom.
That's the only. That's the only thing that you can't do. You can't
I'm
go
gonna
to
tell you
school
what
with
it was
Bartram
because
in it.
I went to Pepper for middle school, right? So we was down bad. You know what I'm saying? I went to Pepper. You know what I'm
Down
saying?
bad.
And the first 2 years of middle school, I went to Spruce Hill, which was a Christian academy on 42nd and Baltimore. And my mom sat me down, was like, "Look, you know, next year." She was frustrated with the school, you know, whatever. I think money just got low, but they was like, "Next year, your sister's going to Penrose, you're going to Pepper." I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." And I'm like, it's the neighborhood school, everybody go there. So I remember my first day walking into Pepper, and I'm just like, we're dead. We got to something's got to be wrong. Like this is
That's
ridiculous.
some sort of economic crisis
Right.
y'all not telling me about.
So of course, you know, you fall in line wherever you at. So now I'm running around with a bunch of young boys from Larchwood and Pasco, and we getting into stupid things, and we wound up getting into some nonsense in the school, and almost got, you know, kicked out of there.
Yeah.
And my mom was just like, "Yeah, you're definitely not going to Bartram." And same type Jones. So it's like, all right, you know, woo, whatever. I got into. There was a couple schools I got into. FLC was one of them.
FLC was good around that time.
My grades, you know, my mom, like, she ain't playing 82.
Yeah.
So 82 is a B. You know what I'm saying? But
Solid.
Solid B, straight down the joint. But I got into FLC. I can't, I know Saw FLC. This is Broad Diddy, ladies
Broad
and
Diddy.
gentlemen. You know what I'm saying?
215.
Yeah, you know it. But yeah, I wound up going to Saw, and you know, it was eye-opening, like going
Yeah.
there, because now I'm around like white kids, and I never really experienced that. Even at Spruce Hill, it would be like 2 or 3, but it was a lot of like Indians, you know, Asian, like it was a lot of different cultures. But I never went to a place that was like a lot of white kids, and just seeing how they fool us into believing that we're like demonic and trouble, and it's just like they're way wilder than
They wild.
yeah, they're wild. Anything we got. So it was cool, it was decent, but my mom was on the same type of joint, like, you're not going to like main building.
Yeah,
You can forget
so
that.
I ended up going to, so I picked Central. That was my first pick. I picked Central for a number of different reasons. I picked Central, and I'm
Real
literally,
quick,
yeah.
is Central a public school?
Yes.
Because I don't want to speak wrong. Okay. Is Masterman?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I picked Central, and at the time we are living for, like I said, my freshman year we living at 58th and Woodland. So I'm taking the the 11, taking the 11 to Broaden out to 15th Street to the Broadway line to Broaden Olney, and then I gotta walk.
Because Central's like behind Girls High.
Yeah, I gotta walk 3 blocks or whatever, long blocks to
Yeah.
get to school or whatever. The
Long
case may
dip
be.
blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, when we move further up in Southwest, I'm at 66 and Doro. I got to walk 4 blocks, get to 36, take the 36 to 15th Street, boom, boom, repeat the process. So, yeah.
I wonder if it's like that for kids now. The way, like, for us, it used to be like an adventure when you got out of school, like getting home.
Oh, my God. 15th Street was the club.
Dog.
15th and Market was the club.
I remember
I don't remember 15th and Market being the club.
And you remember, I went to school in Roxborough, so I remember one day after school, we got out early, and they was like, yo, we going to take the 65 to Wissahick, and then we taking the, what did we take over? Don't give me the line.
Where was you going?
We ended up at Broad Only. We took the 65 to Cheltenham. I can't remember what we got on, but we went to Broad Only.
Okay.
And I remember my first time seeing that, and I was just like, this is insane. Like, yo, do this every day.
McDonald's.
Dog. The little fake Jamaican spot on the Golden Crest, dog.
What was the little burger place? Dollar Burgers.
This was the 70s. We went to school in the late 90s.
Castle.
Oh, White
White
Castle.
Castle.
Yeah. All right.
Still there. When we went to Central, the White Castle was still there. Yeah.
White Castle. Let me get 33.
33 burgers. That'd be $8.
33 burgers.
$8.
But essentially, what you all are talking about is the fundamental conversation about education. It shouldn't be that we're traveling this far, or kids should be traveling this far. It should be an adequate opportunity in every single zip code.
You know what's wild about that? She just said most people, when it comes to their jobs, don't want to travel 25 minutes for work.
Nah, but you'll make your kids travel
Kids
an hour
2
and 20
hours
minutes
to go to school.
to go to school.
Ain't
You
that
gonna get
wild?
a good education.
Yeah.
You gonna get at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, get on this plane.
So everybody ain't college bound. When we took those trades out of school, you limited the options of what
Yeah.
either you were brilliant and on your way to be a lawyer or a doctor, or poverty.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are false choices that a contractor can make $100 grand
Easy.
easy.
Yep.
without the student loan debt.
Yep. There's a friend of mine that I have that works for Pico. He's in a separate thing with Pico. And he keeps telling me about, like, because we were talking about trades on the podcast, and he hit me up and was like, bro, you hit the head on the, he said you hit the nail on the head. He said there's a movement right now where people are electing to not go to college, and it's being led by young white men. And he's like, why? Because they are identifying these trades where you come out as an apprentice making $70,000, and then your second year you're making $137,000, and then your third year you're making $180,000. And he specifically showed me a program at Pico that's like that, where it's like you driving the trucks and this, that, and the third. And he has people in his department making $330,000 a year that don't have a college
So
education.
here's the scary thing. places like Pepsi are now saying, I don't need a general college graduate. I need a specific person that can take and test the pH of water so that my Coke or Pepsi tastes the same all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'll send them to school. You used to be driving a forklift. No, you don't have to do that anymore. But you take this biology class. I want you to understand how to test water. And to the degree that that function needs an educated person, that's what I want you trained on. Now, if you choose to go further, fine.
Yeah.
But it's specifically for the trade that pays.
When I went to college, one of my professors, Dr. Jim Kinney, he's one of the most impactful people I ever met in my life. He was my marketing professor, and he was the head of the marketing department. And he was telling us back in 03, 04, 05, 06, specialization is going to open the world up. You either got to be very educated in a lot of different stuff to be able to be a chameleon and move into different spaces, or be so dialed into one specific thing that they have to pay you whatever you ask for.
You know how many broke lawyers I know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The last thing in the world we need are more lawyers. The last thing.
Don't tell that to kids.
Can't find a plumber.
Right.
I was having a conversation the other day about lawyers at the Sixer game, and I was like, "Do you think plaintiff lawyers get respect?" He's like, "Hell no." It was like, you see them, the John Morgan. Like, they be having to do full.
Can somebody tell him the way he's using John is so wrong?
Yeah, it's terribly wrong.
So wrong.
But it's like, doing that back of the bus, you know what I'm saying? Ambulance chasing.
Yeah, ambulance, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that ain't it. And all of the smart attorneys that I know are transitioning into injury cases, catastrophic injury, specialized type of stuff, to where it's like, I only want to work on this. Like, they're taking their careers into their own hands, and they're being financially rewarded for doing so. But people that are just like some type of general counsel, that ain't it.
Totally broke.
Yeah, the student loan game,
Oh, man.
you'd be here for 2 3 days.
How about my boy Biden's gonna?
That's what they
get
said.
rid of
Y'all can't acknowledge him for that.
Listen,
Y'all been
They
dragging
said,
Joe Byron.
No, we don't drag Joe.
Y'all be dragging
I
Joe
drag him. I
Byron.
drag him.
We don't drag.
I drag
We
him.
Y'all
drag
drag
Joe
him.
for his nonsense.
You know the thing I'm maddest at Joe about in general? The infrastructure money got cut to everybody at the same time, and I can't get nowhere.
Yeah,
that's why I'm mad.
The road work and
It's
it's
crazy.
insanity at this point.
That just took an hour and a half to get here from Valley Forge.
Yeah, like it's
But that's the new reason why you mad at Joe Byron.
That's among others. It's risen to the top.
But they said the other day he's gonna try to cut the student loans. Well,
forgiveness.
Yeah, forgiveness.
But here's the thing. It has to be a multi-pronged strategy. One, if you're just talking about $10,000, the average black student owes more than $25,000 more than their white counterpart. So that's just a drop in the bucket.
I know people with $130 in student loan debt.
Chelsea Renee, as she raises her hand.
I know people with $130
And getting paid $50,000
with degrees from like Lincoln University, undergrad and then a master's. They $130.
And the thing is, like, we have to make sure it's not just the principal, but it's also the interest, because you're paying more to interest than you are to principal.
It's compound interest.
Exactly.
The whole concept of compound interest is predatory, and it is literally harming people's ability to live out the American dream, which is supposed to be good job, a house, and a car. Like, people literally, because their DTI is shot because of these large student loan, they can't even buy a home.
Right.
That's problematic.
I mean, no, and that's the one thing I will give you all credit for when you beat up on Democrats, is that you have to hold this party accountable. Like, yes, it's nice that I'm all for first black woman everything. Thank you for the VP. Thank you for the Supreme Court pick, but fix these student loans.
Exactly.
And if you want us as Democrats...
What's her name that just became the Supreme...
Ketanji Brown.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Oh,
Did you
absolutely.
watch the actual goings-ons
No,
of it?
I didn't.
Them white people was wilding. They was
But listen,
wildin'.
I say this all the time when I see white commentators on national networks say, I can't believe that they're treating her like... I'm like, sweetheart, this is America.
Yeah.
This is our
You
day-to-day
didn't want,
as
I'm
black
go on
people
YouTube
in America.
and just like watch 15 minutes.
Oh,
They
it's
was
intense.
I'm like, I couldn't believe that they was what's his name? The boy who went to Mexico. Remember
Ted Cruz.
Yo, it was tripping. And it literally got to the point where the boy was like, all right, y'all acting like jackasses.
But listen, that when
Shout out to her for holding it together, because there's no way, the way they was
when
tweeting.
Malcolm X said that the black woman is the worst treated in this country, in this world. I mean, that was on full display with those hearings.
Yeah, those hearings were wild.
That was a public flogging, and she wore it like Denzel did.
No, I mean, she didn't flinch.
She had the black woman face.
Yeah, that was
I won't say what it is, but
And some of her looks you could tell.
oh, absolutely.
Don't let me catch you ever.
right.
like, I don't even know why we talking about this, but all right, cool. But yeah, no, shout out to her for the seat, because just watching it go on, I was just like, this is insane. And it made me think, like, what if a room full of black, people in power had a young, you know what I'm saying, like a white woman or Asian, and just was up there. Yeah, well, Leroy was out there like just tweaking. That's what they was doing for 3 days.
Yeah,
she just was chilling during all of it. It was a wild watch.
But that happens in different ways, in subtle ways.
Oh, absolutely.
To all of us.
Microaggressions and
Before I got elected, I could be sitting at a table like this with my counterparts, my equals.
Yeah.
And I'll say, you know what? The earth is round. Look at me like that. Then the other boy said, of Caucasian descent, we might want to check out the earth is round. Yes.
It might be spherical in nature.
I'm like, I just said that.
right.
What is wrong? But that happens to us on the low all the time.
Right, absolutely.
And, it's something that you learn.
Yeah.
I got to be twice as quick.
Oh, absolutely.
Got to document my stuff, take notes.
You got a CYA, cover your ass.
Hey, let it go wrong.
Don't let it go wrong.
Yeah. True story. When I was a young boy, as a part of a political thing, I got 2 choices of a job. One, to run the Minority Business Enterprise Council that gives out contracts to black folks.
Okay.
Or director of the airport. Damn. If a plane fall out the sky, it's my fault. I don't care what. No, I'm gonna take this.
I'm gonna take
over here. Because they're to blame that.
Oh,
On
absolutely.
me.
Yeah, faulty. They're gonna call it faulty leadership.
What? So I chose, but we do that all the time,
Right.
because the risk assessment, risk reward,
Yeah.
ROI ain't the same.
Can you imagine a plane go down and you in Cabo? You supposed to be overseeing the Philly airport. A plane crashes Philly airport, and you on vacation like Ted Cruz was.
Well, trying to. Ted didn't even get there. Ted was trying to bounce, and they was like, "Where are you going?" On, I've been playing this.
Oh, this is before COVID.
Yeah, I've been playing this. They
I mean,
we
nah,
just saw you on
that's
Travelocity yesterday.
Listen, that's our reality every day up in Harrisburg. I am one of 10 black women in a legislature of 253 men and women.
Wow.
And what it looks like in our space is they don't allow you to speak, or they remove you from committees, or you can't. We have never gotten a bill heard as Democrats. So that's the aggressions that we.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know
Sure.
if anyone's ever asked you this. Do you like being a state representative?
It definitely has its good days and its bad days, like any job. I think I was telling you one time when I think it was the interview when we were up here before, you were asking me, well, what's so difficult for you right now? COVID-19 was probably the worst time of being unelected, because a lot of stuff just was really out of our control. So unemployment compensation literally got threats to my office about not being able to communicate with people, but it was completely, I'm not the administration. I'm not up in Harrisburg, I can't really deliver that. But then seeing businesses close because they weren't getting their PPP or PUA or any type of, funding or anything like that. So it's those times that are like the most difficult, when you just can't do something for someone because you really care. But
And see, that's the part we spoke about before we started, where it's like you kind of like you said, your father was like, out of the 3, you dedicated yourself to, and it's like, dedicating yourself to public service. Right. It's like it's different value because it's not monetary.
Right.
Where it's like if you out for blood when it comes to making money, you don't care. You doing all kinds of flim-flams.
Exactly.
So it's like you have to genuinely care about your people, your neighborhood, your district. So it's like you said, ups and downs. Me, I know I probably couldn't do it. Just because
But you do have, you do have your great times being in that space. So one of the things I was able to do that is like one of my shining moments was, we didn't have a magnet school in our area when we were growing up. Working with Jones, we got the very first special admit school, Science Leadership Academy, Beaver, into the old Beaver Middle School. So it's like, rewards like that, being able to leave a legacy and transform lives in that way, that really makes it,
No, that's decent.
So for me,
I know you like it.
Oh,
Listen, when I walked in and I saw all the photos in the hallway, right, to myself, I'm like, he gonna come out here and start talking about these. Sure enough, he's like, come on, you know who this is. You know who this is, don't you?
listen, you will not.
Mary.
Yeah, this is Mary Barron right here.
When you
That's
see
Chocolate Thunder.
chocolate
Apollo
thunder.
Creed. Got them all.
I grew up with her father, and I'm gonna tell you, by now I was supposed to be predicted to be coming home from jail right now.
Okay.
So for me, I'm living a dream.
Oh.
So for a guy like me to be able to go out every day and make a difference, whether it's a little difference or a
Big
huge
difference. Yeah.
I wrote a bill that created oversight commission for police. I used to drive while black.
Yeah.
So they used to stop me, man. I just knew what to do.
Yeah.
Get up against the wall. And so now to be in a position to have effect over my environment.
Right.
Yeah, that's dope.
It's like being able to just transform where you come from instead of, going down to South Florida and just kind of
Here we
giving
go.
up.
Well,
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah, I'm gonna give out some turkeys for my bounce. You know what I'm saying?
We'll get some book bags out.
Book bags, turkeys,
some number two
couple
pistols.
tricycles. I'll be good now.
Let me know if y'all need a partner.
No, that's real. But no, I just wonder that because it's like, there has to be something inside because you might not. And I remember Kev, shout out him. He said it was like when you are for the people, you can't really monetize public service. You know what I mean? And that's where like
You just got to be about it.
people fall by the wayside with the nonsense.
Or you
But
can
it's
go to
just like-
jail.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Morris. I was trying to be nice about it.
Senator Hughes said to me when I first got elected, he said, so I said, how's it going to be? Like, they're going to give me the keys to the vote or the secret codes to the problems? He said, no. He said, it's the easiest job in the world if you don't care about people. It's going to be the hardest job you ever did if you do.
Yeah.
And that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. But he was right.
Yeah.
First day when we got sworn in, there was a
Oh,
group
yeah.
of people sitting out in front of my office eating the fried chicken, listening to the music. Then the music faded. We were starting to clean up, and they were still there. So I said, did you have a good time? And they said, yes, it was wonderful. I said, you all right? They said, no, we're homeless. I said, oh, shucks.
Right.
Now it got real.
Got real problems now.
I got to figure out how to put this family someplace safe and not under a bridge for the night. And we and it was scary because they say if you don't make your first sale, you're doomed. Mm-hmm. This was my first sale,
Right.
And so we found a way to get all of that stuff. And then I realized what the senator was talking about. People hang on to your work, life and death. So you make a decision, you turn off the mic, you good, right? No, the mic don't ever shut off.
Yeah, I mean, we just went
gotta deal with
through
it.
hell and back again during COVID, and you didn't have the luxury of not showing up. I mean, where some people didn't show up, they didn't think it was their job.
Right.
But like you had communities like mine where you could not get a test or get vaccinated at all. Like I literally had to go to another county, or you were coming in a center city, which I thought.
Yeah, it's crazy where it's at. Now, you can get a test at Wawa with your sandwich. Yeah, you add test 49 cents on the
Right.
like, I'm not joking. You get them at Wawa now. They 2 for 1 at the Wawa. It's crazy. Yeah. But I like, and that's what I mean. Hearing that type story though, like I just know, like me, I want to, and that's the messed up. Like I want to be that person, but
Just join a board of an organization so you can feel good.
There's
man.
ways to
Yeah.
give back, but
oh no, I know there's ways to give back. I've given back.
I don't doubt that. But your sense of wanting to be a public servant, there's ways to
Like
give
how
back.
you walked that office and they were homeless, so you had to figure. Like me, it was like, all right, I see
They can
y'all
get
tomorrow.
a-
Like I just it wouldn't if it clicked. I guess
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. To like, oh, I got to do because you do that for somebody. Now you kind of, and that's where the damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like you can't save
It
everything.
was like Janie Blackwell, what you just said. She was the homeless queen.
Oh yeah.
Every night at 6 o'clock, there were families lined up. I didn't want to be that guy either.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's all you'll do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I always think the goal of this exercise is not to continue to still give out the turkey or the bike. It's really to get people to self-sufficiency.
Yeah, we had a whole joint with who was on the show with us? Kyrie. When we
Yeah.
had to break down how the turkey is completely
It's a burden.
useless.
The
It's a
turkey is a
burden.
burden.
It takes a half a day to cook. If I'm standing in line for a turkey,
I'm still giving out turkeys.
I gotta hear this.
he was basically saying how the giving people a turkey for Thanksgiving is a 22-pound, 12-hour burden. Because if I'm in line for a turkey, I probably don't have money for the sides, and I might not have a stove to
Cook the turkey.
And I should have started yesterday on the turkey. Most people cook it overnight. I don't know if you're familiar with that. My mom did. You know, seriously, that's
Slow roasted.
Slow roasted. You know?
Well, people have actually been asking for different things. I got, do you have lamb? Do you have duck? Do you have beef?
Oh, y'all got some spicy.
Y'all got some really
Y'all got some spicy constituents. No, baby, y'all got no quarter.
And when you come with the turkey, best believe you better come with them sides. So, yeah.
Randomly, I logged into Instagram today. They deep frying lamb chops. I say I gotta log out.
Yeah, we just gonna smoke. We're gonna smoke all the flavor out of the lamb.
We're gonna absolutely annihilate all the flavor in the lamb. Yeah, but just
Sound good to me.
The councilman's a pretty good cook, actually.
yeah, that's hilarious. But when it comes to like your constituents, your neighborhoods, all of that type of thing, I think that's a bigger. You can't just throw things.
No.
You know, like if you need $10 and I give you $10, that's cool.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you might need $10 again.
Right.
But if I show you how to make $20 every day, so I understand that, and that's the bigger thing.
So the difference between where we are right now, 59th and Market, and where I used to have an office,
Okay.
they ain't need me up there.
Right, you just up there.
You just up there talking to the exterminator.
They didn't like the way the squirrels were running.
Somebody peed on their lawn. I mean, that kind of thing. Down here, it's real.
Yeah.
Like we give away food. We have lines.
Yeah.
And when we and it's not giving a person a fish. You got to teach them how to fish.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Some of the folk down here, right down there is stop and go. 7 o'clock in the morning, they want to line up for shots.
Right.
We need drug treatment.
Right.
Here. And so that's why we moved here. It was easy in Winfield, and I was living the life. So
Yeah.
animals and bees. Down here, it's real.
Yeah.
And every 28 days, somebody gonna get shot. We used to come here when we first built this building, thanks to Morgan Cephas, the largest REPI grant.
Like 52?
$52 million she put down here, right? But we used to check for bullet holes on Monday morning because they were shooting across the street. This is where they need us.
Yeah.
Right.
To your point, you gotta love this job. This is not something that you do to make money because you can go to jail trying to make too much money.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's what our homie said. Like, you can't monetize public service. Like, just what it is. You got to be more for the public than anything.
Yep. You got to be down to do the work.
Yeah.
So overall, what would y'all say is the political climate in Philadelphia right now, and how people feel? Because daily, because of the violence problems and all the stuff that's going on, shootings, killings, carjacking, stuff like that, you have people that are online and in person cursing the mayor out, cursing the DA out. People, the citizen, like you said, is a tale of two Philadelphias, but it's really probably like 6 different Philadelphias.
18.
Yeah. And people are just kind of fed up at large with all of the craziness that's kind of like consuming this city. What do y'all hear from y'all constituents? What is being said on a city council level, on a state level about Philadelphia?
Me first? Mm-hmm. All right. So there's 2 different perceptions of elected officials. If you have checked out and you in bed with the covers over your head, you know what I mean? They view you as checked out. If you right here at 16th and Market and I walk out there, I don't got a bodyguard. I go deal with the people. They say they're
We gotta get Bri a piece of something.
Yeah. You got license to carry. What's going on over there?
So what they want is schools that educate, jobs that pay, and fathers that stay. Mm-hmm. Schools that educate, jobs that pay, and fathers that stay. I listened to your podcast the other day about that elephant piece. Mm-hmm. That's a real thing. I go through blocks where there ain't
Subscribe to the
fathers.
Patreon, official TRPE.com.
Yeah, their fathers list blocks.
Yeah.
Where ain't no old head, where there's no male figure that.
Absolutely.
And so that anger spills out on me and you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that somehow a tree falls in the wood and I ain't hear that shit. It was my fault.
Right.
And I take that on the chin because I take it with them.
Fatherless blocks is scary.
That is scary.
That's wild. Yeah.
There's no adult male between the ages of like 20 and 50. Just they ain't there. I listened to y'all. Actually, Diddy, when we riding around, he don't let me listen to rap music. I listen to y'all. Right? Which is educational. But what you said was very true, that if I don't have an example, I heard something that you said, but I heard it through sociologists that said that some of the problems with the young men in jail, they not only hate their fathers that they don't know, they hate their mothers for letting that other dude be there and take my piece of chicken, my, time away from you. And I hate both y'all.
Yeah. We had BF and Krumah on the show, and he was doing a lot of activist, community work. And he was saying he would go to the jails all the time and, like, teach the kids, talk to the kids. And he said, he was like, you go to the jail and, you got kids in there with 2 murders, 3 murders, 4 murders under their belt. They fighting 3 and 4 homicides. And you think that this kid is just, like, completely mentally, like, cast away. But he was like, you walk in the room and you start talking to him like a grown man, young boy fall right in line and become a kid again. And Mitch, he's like, it blew my mind. It's like, he not a hard and toughened criminal. He just lost. He don't, he don't really got that. Because Mitch, like the second he said he went to one of the young kids, he told him he would come to his court date. Remember? He's like, I told him I'm gonna come to his court date. So Mitchell, he's like, I walked into the courtroom, whatever, waved and sat down. Saying, young boy broke down crying. He was like, what's wrong with you? He was like, nobody ever kept their word. Like I said, it was like, So he was like, no, like I really made it a thing to make sure I was there for him. Like, and he was like, yeah, like these kids really, like a lot of them just don't. So me hearing and we were just talking the other day on the Patreon, like having a discussion. We were having a conversation about them killing one of the largest elephants in Botswana.
Yes, and I've heard that story before.
And the scientist was saying how killing the elder elephants affect the younger elephants because it leads to aggression problems, their interaction with humans and all these different things. And to hear fatherless blocks is like, the whole terrain is
you got a total lack of leadership.
Total lack,
And these boys sometimes find, like when I was coming up, old head meant you were in your 20s, you really wasn't from the gang no more, but you hung out and you were still keeping it real.
Right.
You gave us guidance, like, y'all go ahead home. No, don't do that. Or, come on, I'm going to show you how to do that. Then, right now, you got young boys teaching young boys.
Yeah.
They're betraying the young boys, using them as crash dummies to go do this.
That's your
Hello.
Take this gun, and now all of a sudden, you wake up and you in lockup for life?
Yeah. I can vividly remember a time we were about 15, and one of my homies, he had a gun, was carrying it around, whatever. And not like he said, old heads, like you hear old head and you think, old head could be somebody who was 23. Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Yeah, old head could be somebody 4, 5, 6 years older than you.
But one of the older dudes who was literally like 7, 8 years older than us, he like spotted it while we was at the park. And he was like, "What was that, yo?" And he was like, "What you mean?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Just in case. He took it from him. It was like, "You tripping? You not getting this back?" And straight took his gun. And like, you would think that would spawn this, but he just was like, all right, so what we about to do? You know what I'm saying? Because you really got no business with this anyway. Right. But and the crazy part is the dude who took it was full of nonsense.
Right.
But I'm already here.
Yeah, I'm already burnt out. This not for y'all.
I'm already fried. Y'all got a chance to not be fried. Like, and he had enough wherewithal to say no. And the crazy part is, dude who he took the gun, life is straight. Yeah. No nothing, got a nice life, good wife, everything. And it's like, what if you would have just kept that gun on you and got caught with that or used that? Or
Turnouts in life are little decisions just like that.
It's little forks. Little plastic forks.
Series of small different decisions that you make where you either going to compromise your integrity or do something that you're not prepared for the repercussions of that action, and you're going to end up in jail for life, or you're going to get shot, or something stupid is going to happen to you that was totally avoidable.
Life-changing.
Yes.
Right. Life-changing. You wake up and all of a sudden you read in Arabic, you understand Plato's theory and all that stuff, but you incarcerated.
Yeah, you could have did that free.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, y'all said something on the podcast the other day that was
Shout
powerful.
out to Morgan taking more notes.
I just wanted to make sure I got
Morgan taking notes during the show. I love Morgan. That's funny.
So y'all said something amazing on the podcast the other day. Y'all said that your lack of resources shouldn't dictate your moral compass.
Absolutely.
And I think that is a conversation that we're not having a part of this gun discussion and this violence. We have program after program. We've funded organizations on the ground. We've created so many avenues for people to go down. It's the choice that they are making that is adding to the situation that we're in.
They're taking the choice of the low-hanging fruit, which is I'm going to get a gun, I'm going to rob this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to home invade this, da-da-da-da-da, not realizing how short that shelf life is.
Right.
And because of the old head piece of it, that total lack of leadership, there's nobody to tell them, yo, you do know you go run in somebody's house, you might win, you might lose. Somebody might blow your brains out, you might get the best of them, you might get whatever you're trying to get from this, but what about the next house and the next, eventually that catches up to you.
Doing home invasions makes you the running back of the streets. Like, you might have 2 seasons at the top.
Yeah.
That's just real. That's just how you don't have longevity in this. No one does. You're gonna go down. Yeah, you know, Jay-Z says that, change is cool to cop, but more important is lawyer fees, because that part of, and that's the old heads. You're not keeping it real with these young boys. Yeah, it's cool to go, sell coke and do whatever, you get a bust down rollie or whatever. But you do understand you going in the next 2 years.
Yeah, you're going.
Part of the game.
It's part of the game. And then you get in there. Now you telling, and now
I had a conversation with my uncle a couple years ago, and just randomly, we hadn't talked in a while, so we was catching up or whatever. We met up in person. We was talking, and he talked to somebody that he knows that's a federal agent. And they said, "Yo, it's 272 registered paid informants in the city of Philadelphia. You going to jail." Like, so if you doing anything illegal, you going, because there's probably a 1 in 7 chance or something like that whoever you dealing with, whether you buying or selling, you dealing with an informant.
How crazy is one of my good friends I used to gamble with. He went into the feds, and when he went through his federal case, they told him like 83% of federal convictions come from informant.
Absolutely. Wow.
And testimony. 83%. Like every 10, 8.
Yeah, 8.3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that's a good point that you all are making. And when you ask the question, like, what's the conversation about Philadelphia in our different spaces? So up in Harrisburg, that's the conversation where Philadelphia cannot govern itself. So we must now come in and govern.
Right.
So because it's a Republican controlled General Assembly, they're passing bills like term limiting our district attorney, doing co-prosecution cases with the attorney general, being able to take cases out of the hands of our district attorney.
Feel like it.
Absolutely.
They won't even let us report lost and stolen guns. We wanted to make it mandatory.
Right.
We passed a law that said if you lose your gun, just tell us.
Right.
That's all. Tell us it's stolen so we can start looking for it. They said no, that infringes upon that individual's right to bear arms. I said, well, wait a minute. If you lose a cell phone, you report it. Right. You get a car stolen, you say it. Right. But you can't tell. The NRA and gun lobbyists out there were so strict about keeping that.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah, because I'm
So you lose a gun. It can't be something that's basically publicly reported or like widespread reported.
We can't make you
report it.
Okay, yeah, and that I know.
So your gun is just wherever.
It's wherever.
No, basically it's like you lose. You don't have to come in and say it. Like, you don't have to make a report of it.
So my thing is, if that is the case, and you're not on no BS, why wouldn't you want to report that?
I might got something to do.
They're a straw purchaser potentially.
Right. That's the key.
Man, I got the over in the Padres game. I got to watch this.
So you
can't leave out the house now.
You and your girl go into the gun shop. She buys the gun.
Right.
Get in the car. She hands you the gun.
Yeah.
2 years later, you get caught doing I been got that gun stolen. Well, why didn't you tell us?
Oh, I didn't have to. The law says I don't have to. So it's an easy cop out for the straw purchaser. Yep. And speaking of straw purchasing, I've seen something in several different examples recently. There was a guy in Georgia, and it related back to New York City. Guy in Georgia bought like 68 pistols or whatever like that. Oh, wow. He's living his best life, whatever. He's a legal beagle, but he got ties to this gang in Brooklyn, and he's basically just sending these guns back home. They arrest him, indict everybody attached to it. Everybody got like 14 years or something like that. And it's just like, when we have examples like this that we know exist, how is it that there's a law where you aren't made to report the losing of a gun.
In Harrisburg, it is a different universe.
Yes.
I got friendly Republicans. Some of my best friends, I hang out with them.
They're just conservative Democrats.
Yeah,
they're
really
mansions.
But her Republicans are real
Absolutely.
Hardcore
Trumpian Republicans, and they view us as a aberration city.
Right.
And you're talking about I go hunting. That's a religion of mine.
Yeah.
You ain't taking my gun out of my dead hands. I mean, kind of stuff. Right. And yeah, it's an AK-47. So what? It shoots 30 bullets. It's mine.
Yeah.
And so that mentality. And when you look at the stats, bro, more people have died in gun violence in Philly than all of the lynchings in the history of the United States.
That's insanity.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it's not as crazy as it sounds. Like, I can believe it.
So you're safer in Afghanistan, Iraq, and now even
Ukraine than the city of Philadelphia.
Right. And again, it goes back to people voting, and they're being just apathetic right now because of the environment in Philly. But it's critical to vote because these next series of races will determine the direction that Harrisburg will go into that makes the decisions about what happens with lost and stolen guns.
Now, you said Harrisburg, we're basically thinking about doing things where, like, the term for the district attorney.
Yes.
Right? So
like they literally just passed a bill so we have the House and the Senate, similar to Congress and Senate down in D.C. They literally passed a bill out of the House term limiting our district attorney and sunsetting the bill after this current term that he's in.
So he just got reelected.
Yes.
And they term limited him and sunsetted it to this.
Yeah.
So he's basically done after this.
Well, it has to go to the Senate.
Okay.
And then it has to go to the governor's desk. So it more than likely can go through the Senate.
What are your thoughts? What are your honest thoughts on if it's going to pass or not?
Oh, it has the potential to honestly pass, but our governor's going to veto it, and they don't have a super majority, which is 2/3 vote. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Krasner will probably get his whole term.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Krasner will be fine.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that is the type of environment
that's the conversation.
Yes, that they want to govern Philadelphia from Harrisburg.
And not to cut you off, Kurt, but what I want to get this thought out. It's almost like a situation where because Philadelphia is so different and non-representational of the rest of the state, it's almost like the 99% governing the 1%.
That's our reality.
And the economic reality is for every dollar you send to Harrisburg, you're only getting 73 cents back.
We are the economic engine of the Commonwealth.
We drive the
absolutely.
And they treat us like
without Philadelphia, the state doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
So
it's Philadelphia, Alabama in between, and then it's Pittsburgh.
Right.
Like that's it.
I mean, and that's why elections.
Philadelphia, Skid Row, Pittsburgh. It's crazy.
That's why elections are critical, and Philadelphia can determine every statewide election if we got out and vote. And I think as electeds, that is what we have to make the electorate understand. Is that we have the potential to control who's the next governor, who is the U.S. senator, who is the lieutenant governor. And we have the ability to, so like right now, I don't have an opponent, but all the Democrats in Philly that don't have opponents, we now shift our focus to what's happening in Pennsylvania and other areas that have Republicans, so we
Where
can.
Is that?
Well, that's what they call it. That's what they call it. So when
that's Wonderland.
They got a White Castle.
Well, you call it Alabama. That's what we call it, Pennsylvania. But so I mean, we shift our focus as Democrats in the Southeast because we're majority, progressive and liberals, to flipping the House and seats that we could potentially take back, so we can then control the agenda up in Harrisburg that will, address some of the underlining issues as to why we're having all of this violence.
So locally, who's the next mayor?
I'm not here for that conversation. Y'all can have it.
I've heard Jeff Brown. I've heard Maria Sanchez.
I heard Sanchez.
I heard she's brilliant. I heard she's the one. Like I heard she was the golden child. Is what I was told.
John Street might come back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I heard
Little Sharif, Little Sharif Street. Throw him in the mix.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like outside of those are the two names that I keep hearing.
Who's the mayor now?
Kenny.
Kenny. Here you go.
Kenny.
I mean, it's Michael Nutter. It's just always right there.
He got the seal here from Michael Nutter. I was at Rose Tattoo one night having dinner.
You know who that is, don't you?
Yeah, I was at Rose Tattoo one night in Callowhill Hill having dinner, and Mike Nutter came up and introduced himself to me. He was a super gentleman. I don't particularly know
Did you realize when Jamie Foxx got sworn in as the DA on Michael Nutter was holding the Bible?
Yeah. Yeah.
Law-abiding citizen.
Law-abiding citizen. There you go. But I've heard the name Sanchez. I didn't. Jeff Brown is not.
ShopRite Jeff.
ShopRite Jeff.
Yes,
Oh, Jeff.
he running for me.
The one that's
You gonna get sawed on the campaign.
Egg rolls. I didn't know Jeff Brown was running.
Yeah, Jeff Brown running.
Hey, Brown got this in the bag. No pun intended. It's over. Y'all can back it up. I know Jeff Brown.
So it was funny. During the pandemic, he was giving away groceries.
Yeah. Hot bar. I said the hot bar about it.
During the pandemic, he was giving away groceries. It must have been 50 pastors standing there getting those certificates. I walk by, they ain't know me. That's Jeff Brown. Because he's in every.
He's a celebrity.
What's crazy is it's so funny now that you're saying this. Because I rode past a ShopRite the other day, and there's a gigantic poster of him.
it's new. It's so new.
And I was thinking to myself yo, I went decades not seeing Jeff Brown.
Now I can't escape.
Now he's there, and it's Jeff Brown might be right. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he running for mayor.
Yeah.
So, what is Morgan don't want none of this. Morgan
Ain't
don't
no
want
notes.
Ain't nothing there. I didn't have a section on Philly mayor. So you tell us who's the next mayor.
So if I was handicapping horses, we was at the racetrack.
Yeah.
So you got Jeff Brown, he's in the pole position.
Right.
You got your girl Parker.
Sherelle Parker from
Sherelle Parker. She comes from a base of the Northwest, which is politically strong. She's going to do well in a lot of the,
She's a black woman.
She's a black woman.
Oh yeah.
So she,
Has Philly ever had a black woman mayor?
They have not.
I didn't think so. Because I can remember all the mayors. I'm like, wasn't no black woman.
I don't think we had a
wasn't no woman. Period.
Yeah.
Maria Sanchez is the smartest. Been in rooms with people. Now you're in a room trying to figure out a problem, and everybody look at the person who has the solution.
Right.
That's Maria.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. I heard she the real deal.
She's
But
brilliant.
With a
Brilliant.
surname that is Spanish, we don't know. Then you got Derek Green, who is he's pretty smart. He is the modern Michael Nutter.
He is.
Okay.
He is.
Michael Nutter-esque. And then you have
Alan Dom
Alan Dom, who is rich. He's the condo king.
doesn't take a salary currently.
Yeah, he gave back his money.
He gives it to the schools.
He gives it to the school.
I like that.
He's up.
I like that.
You have him.
I'm doing this shit for y'all.
I'm
I don't need
coming to work and not making money. You know what I'm saying? I'm rich already. I'm good.
Then you have Helen Gim, who is one of the progressive left of left.
She's our city council AOC.
Okay.
What's AOC?
Yeah, Congresswoman down in D.C.
Okay.
From New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have the city controller, Rebecca
Reinhardt.
I've heard that name before.
She is a Michael Nutter-esque.
Like a business person?
No.
I hear
She counts.
Okay, she counts.
So she does auditing of systems.
Okay.
So you have, and I'm going to tell you this, all of them, if I woke up the day after the election and that person was mayor, the city will function.
Yeah.
There's not always good and bad. There's good, better, and best.
Yeah, I was gonna say who's gonna make the city thrive so me and Matt don't get on a
And that
jet
is the
and get the hell out of here.
That's the question. And to Mayor Kenny's credit, he mentioned that during his time as mayor. Like about a decade ago, you saw a big drain that happened in the city of Philadelphia where people were moving out.
Yes.
Now they're moving back in. The next mayor will determine whether or not our generation is moving out
Or
to
in.
set up somewhere or moving in.
Yeah, I think the moving in is like a different demographic, though. You know?
It's completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I had a debate with somebody on Twitter, famously, recently,
you wild.
and he basically was saying like, "Yo, Philly's 70% black." I said, "Where did you get this data from?"
What's it, like
Keem's
40
Almanac.
now?
Hakeem's Almanac? No, it's not even 40. It
Right.
might be 38 or something like that. And I'm just like,
Facts.
This is a diverse, multicultural city,
Right.
and it's a port city. It's on a 95 corridor. It's in the Mid Atlantic. It's a conduit to the north and to the south. Like, this is an important city.
We have the bones to be a great city. It's just we need somebody that has an aggressive vision
Yeah,
for
they think small. Now,
Right.
I've been in a room with all of those people.
Yeah,
The problem we have, and you touched on it by way of social life, but it's true every aspect. We think, so we getting this infrastructure money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening in the room. I'm like, man, we getting ready to get paid. This so happened once in a lifetime.
Once in a
What are we getting
lifetime.
ready to do? We're going to fix every pothole in the city of Philadelphia.
We're going to do the corners. Yeah.
Like, we ain't going to build a rail
We-
between Center City and the Northeast
Or the King of
down to
Prussia.
the airport or King of Prussia. We're going to fix potholes.
or even thinking about
The
using this.
potholes are crazy.
the potholes are nuts.
The potholes. I fell in one.
Listen,
The potholes.
tell me who I need to talk to. I blew 5 tires on my
Carlton
BMW.
Williams, Streets Department.
I'm dropping your name.
686. Drop my name.
I'm dropping your
Tell
name.
me,
Listen,
talk
I
to
blew
me.
5
I
tires on
was,
my
with
BMW.
I was at Kurt office the other day. Show me all the photos.
He told me. You wasn't in none of them, but he showed them to me.
You weren't in none of them, but he
Six,
showed me all the photos.
$6.50 a tire, 5 tires on my BMW in a 3-month span. These potholes.
But if you're going to do what you said, build a so we should have built that Sixers stadium right on Delaware Ave.
Yeah, as opposed to Camden.
Now, I will say that.
I don't want to go to Camden for nothing.
Now, I go to a lot of games, so I've been going around. And I will say that, like, going down Memphis, like, I'm talking about, like, FedEx Forum is on Bill Street.
Yeah.
Like, you come out FedEx Forum and you got a drink in your hand and you jigging up the street. Like, it's crazy. It's like you go to Phoenix, same thing.
Yeah.
Their baseball stadium is right downtown. It's like, for Philadelphia, like, to still have, like, the sport complex that's just like when we leave.
Yeah, that's all that's
we
down
went to
there.
Sixers game the other night. You just get on 95 and take your ass home. Like, it's just,
And that's the thing. Like, we need somebody that has a bold vision that's going to make the connections.
Even when it comes to highway, like today they're doing traffic now on road like 76 going to the boulevard, like going up Route 1.
Yeah.
And they got it split, so it's right lane, left lane. In the middle lane, they doing construction. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, this is the highway. This joint 2
But you
lanes.
didn't walk on that highway, did you?
No.
I heard that one too.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. I was wilding that day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was wild. I got a Charlie horse. I had to stretch it out. You know what I'm saying?
Got out and did some Pilates.
Yeah,
bro.
just some Pilates real quick on the highway. You know what I'm saying?
funny.
But no, it's like when you go to these other places and get it messed up. I feel like I watched this show, Adam Ruins Everything, and he says how.
Get out the room, yo.
Yeah, that was it.
Brian did it.
Yo, you killing me, yo.
That is Brad Diddy
Yeah.
215 again.
Checking in.
We are,
Stir the
this is a
rice.
lot. These mics are hot.
So I was watching this show, and the guy was basically saying how when you, like, let's say you got a 3-lane highway, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man, we could put some money out and make this a 5-lane highway. He was like, the only thing a 5-lane highway does is induce more traffic. So you don't really beat anything. And he was showing how I-5 got constructed.
Yeah.
You know, out in Portland going down to California, where it's like, think about it, I-5 is always traffic. That joint is 12 lanes.
Right.
So it's like, we could put another lane on 76. It would take,
42
9
years.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But it's like, would it really, really help in the long run? So I feel more so what he's saying, where it's like having a high speed rail that could connect the Northeast to Center City, or the Northeast to Center City to the airport,
Right.
or Northeast to King of Prussia to the
Yeah.
airport. That would be dope. But it's, you got to start thinking like Japan.
Yeah.
Or like,
Or
yeah,
even thinking about just the amount of, we're getting millions upon millions of dollars from the infrastructure
Yes,
bill.
lots of
And
money.
looking at it potentially as a revolving loan fund, so it would take care of infrastructure things as small as potholes, not just for over the next 3 years, but over the next
Yeah.
decade.
Dr. Claude Anderson, the #1 black economist in history. He wrote the book Powernomics. Brilliant man. He worked on the Ford administration, worked on the Carter administration. He wrote the plan for Black America that black people excoriated Ice Cube for, because they say, what the fuck is the nigga from Anaconda doing telling us about a plan for Black America, not understanding that there was the #1 black economist of all time, one of the top economists, period, and lawyers, doctors that went into writing this plan. He said that what would fix and encourage more people to move to the South and create more infrastructure would be a high-speed rail that goes from Dallas, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Montgomery, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, and I think it was maybe somewhere Jacksonville, Florida, or something like that. He said you would create hundreds of thousands of jobs. You would create the viability of somebody could get on a train in Jacksonville, Florida, and be in Dallas, Texas in a matter of hours, as opposed to 14 hours or however the heck long it takes you to take a train. And it would literally pay for itself. And it's that type of bold vision and that type of thinking that you need in a city like Philadelphia that has everything. Only thing we don't have is a beach and warm weather. You got everything else. You got ports, you got railways, you got cargo trains that come through here still to this day. How? Like, how? Like, I don't understand.
Vision. It's called vision. Or the lack thereof. And I'm going to tell you, that Amazon deal that we were a couple years ago looking at, that would have changed Philadelphia, not necessarily for the good. I'm going to tell you why. You put 50,000 people here with $100,000 per income, housing, real estate goes crazy.
Yeah.
And guess who gets moved out?
Yeah.
Us.
It's instant gentrification.
Yep.
I've been saying I personally think it's coming regardless.
Slower.
No. All jokes aside, like I drive the 48, and I'll say it to myself driving up down 29th Street, like y'all got 4 or 5 more years. Of this.
I'm like the writing is on the wall, because my thing is for a good 28, 29 months in a row, every time I went anywhere in downtown Philly, there was a new condo development. Who's buying all these condos?
They're building. I was riding here and I saw they're doing. If you come off of City Ave and you make the right on 63rd, so you know the train station.
Yeah.
You coming down right past. I used to have a homegirl that lived in that apartment building back in the day. That's right by my house. Okay, on the left side where the pizza place is, it's an all big building they're doing. I'm just like, when the hell did this right
near a train station?
Exactly.
That's the key.
That's
if
our
they
district.
Ever fix, you know it's over when they fix North Philly train station and the Botany building next door.
Oh yeah,
it's $1 million condos. It's a wrap.
It's over.
I literally said it though. I'm like, I remember, I've been there since 09. So I remember when you would come up 29th Street, when you got to Poplar, because the 48 comes up Poplar and makes a right on 29th. Mm-hmm. When you turn off of Poplar onto 29th Street, the last of the people who wasn't black was getting their things together.
Yeah.
When we get to Girard, they offer this jump.
Yeah.
To the point where when you get to like Master Jefferson, you like, hey, y'all
good?
Y'all on that stuff. Because, y'all ain't supposed. Now I'm talking about you get to Dolphin, Ridge, like even all the way up to like York.
Yeah.
They walking and it's just like you see these homes where it's like how we talked about homes missing, the dilapidated buildings. And you look up, it's a 4-story home with the front that's slanted
with the roof deck.
No, 63rd and Lebanon. Y'all got to drive on Lebanon. You know where the Rite Aid is. It's 2 brewery town style homes that were put in the cutouts. Each of them is like $400,000.
Yeah,
I listen.
And in 2 years they're gonna be $650.
I was on the 48 and it was a detour because they was protesting. Like it was a protest coming down Girard. I don't know I guess like whatever was going on last year. It was just random. You remember last year was a protest every day. Yeah, and so you couldn't even keep up with detours. So they was just like, hey, look, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? All right,
freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle. Let us know where you go. And I went down to 30th. In Girard, it's like a Audi right there, and I made the right on 30th. Mm-hmm. I got to like 30th and Master, bro. It's like Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
I
beautiful.
couldn't believe it. I'm like, no way. I'm talking about like condos with gigantic balconies with like parrot cages sitting up on that. I was just like, what, yo? I'm talking about gated homes. Like, dude, people got their cars in their driveway with gates in front of them, and I'm just like, yeah, no. And then coming back down, we had the detour of Girard, so they was just like, yo, you be better off just taking Girard to Broad Street. But Girard was blocked at 22nd, so you had to go up 22nd and go over to Ridge and come down. And I came down Ridge Avenue.
Listen.
Dog.
Rodeo Drive.
Dog.
Ridge.
Dog. I couldn't believe it.
That used to be North Philly.
Yeah, that's North Ridge now.
Yeah.
North Ridge.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That is what our next mayor has to figure out. Like, how do we continue that boom and this investment and that expansion and that vision without pushing out the
But at the same
rest of
time,
West
though, to
Philly
his
and
point, I
Northwest?
feel like, yeah, you want that expansion and you want these things to happen. But a friend of mine was showing me a house. He was looking at down 22nd and Pine. The house was listed for $612,000. It sold for $54,000 over the ask. It spent 0 days on the market.
Yeah, it closed pre-market.
Like somebody just showed up like,
Yeah, and they probably were a cash buyer.
yeah.
Waived
No
everything.
contingencies, waived all the inspections and all of that. I'm in here.
I was talking to a guy at the poker room the other day, and he's a contractor, and he was saying he went to he had his friend was selling a house in Jersey. The house was listed for $650,000, big house. Mm-hmm. He's like, the house sold for almost $100 over the ask. He was like, I literally came there and watched the guy straight say, yeah, we cool on the inspection.
Yeah,
We just
I'm
wanna
trying to get in here. Yeah.
And he's like, I couldn't believe him saying it because it's like, one, you're buying this much house and it's an older home.
Yeah.
To waive an inspection on a new home is crazy.
Yeah.
On a 27-year-old house is wild.
Yeah, we need to inspect this whole thing.
That you're about to spend
But
$700
but
on. They don't
people
care.
but people are so afraid that they're going to lose the deal. They're willing to put themselves in compromising positions and just deal with it later.
It's a seller's market, man.
Right.
Seller's market. And it's crazy. As to Representative Cephas' point, it's over here now.
Oh, yeah.
I used to think, oh, that's a Darrell Clark and Kenyatta Johnson problem. We're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Man, until you see what was the old Penguin. They bought the Penguin. It's now the Phoenix.
Oh, the Phoenix. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Man, they put those folk out of there that was on disability, this, that, and the
We have
other.
a couple of New York firms buying up apartment buildings.
Yeah.
And
Listen, the New York firms, the North Jersey firms, the Asian money, the Russian money, and all that's coming down here, you can't get a house at the sheriff's sale. That's over.
Did any of y'all see the dude in the apartment in New York that won't move? And they're trying to get him out to sell it. Did you see that? Did you see it? He's living in his apartment. It's like $3,300 a month in Manhattan, and the landlord has gotten everybody to move out of the building because they're trying to do a $70 million bill. Yeah, and he won't move. So they literally got like generators in the hallway and running off.
To that point, these evictions now are getting ready to be violent. Mm-hmm. Like, where am I going?
Yeah.
You tell me I got to leave. Where am I taking these kids? Where am I going?
Sharon Hill.
Yeah, no, I'm not leaving. Make me.
Sharon Hill, Chester.
We said it on the show. That's why I said it when I like to myself, like, y'all got 4 or 5 more years to get this all out of y'all system.
And the
Because what's
thing
going to
is-
happen is, real quick, they're going to take 29th Street, all of that is done.
Yeah.
The fact that they're calling it Brewery Town now, y'all can forget.
Yeah, it's not even North Philly no
No,
more.
this is done. So it's like the fact that they call it, no, it's the truth. They're going to send y'all to, where Naughty by Nature from? East Orange, New Jersey. Y'all going to East Orange, New Jersey, or y'all going to Fallcroft and Sharon Hill.
Yeah.
It's like all of this.
Fallcroft ain't taking them.
No.
I be in Fallcroft a lot. And Fallcroft ain't taking them. They not playing that shit. They pull up for, if 2 kids get into a fight, the police pull up and hit you in the head with a flashlight. They ain't taking you in Fallcroft. Y'all niggas going to Sharon Hill. Y'all going to Chester. Y'all going, y'all might could go to Aston, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, they're not playing with y'all. And the fact that y'all sons is out here shooting everything up, y'all speeding the process up. Y'all might not got 4 or 5 years. You might got 2.5.
But watching like she said, the having somebody who has a vision for things going further.
Yeah.
You also want inclusion.
Oh, absolutely.
For people.
Absolutely.
And that's a big thing with like I told you, one of my best friends, he's over in Qatar. The fact that the Qatari government gives people money every year is insane. Like, just all get a stipend.
I mean,
And
if
I'm
you
just
think about it, it's the same thing as basic income
yeah.
that one of our candidates talked about for president. So when
Andrew Yang.
you all are always talking about the PUA and the PPP and when the faucet stops, it's having a real conversation about basic income.
Well, they
and
can
what
never
that
do
looks like.
that again. PPP, that was a failure.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't have to do it as drastic as that.
We failed that time.
So in the midterms, you're going to see we better watch this next election.
Oh, right.
Really closely, because whatever infrastructure money, whatever PPE money we got, when they rebel against that and get elected, the whole purpose is to turn that spigot off and to see what happens next.
Right.
That see what happens next is not going to be like with the uprisings we had before. Right. They're going to be ready. They're not going to be apologetic about George Floyd. No, they Trump did this one commercial where the person's calling the cops. Someone's in my house. Press 1. We'll call you tomorrow. progress too. You might get a call back in a week.
Right.
I just left 911, and they're saying people ain't answering. There's 23 people at that 911 center in order to deal with 4,200 calls a day. High point, 7,200 calls a day. If 5 people are out, you on hold.
Yeah.
Being on hold to call 911 is crazy.
And it's wild because of what
That's nuts.
No, seriously, it's like wild because when you really think about it, like you say, where you're at. Think about us out there. When your girl the car accident, dog, like they
pull right up
in a heartbeat, for anything.
Yep.
Our fire alarm went off one night. You seen the spinning joint on the front of the fire truck coming down the street. They don't play. Yeah. So it's like, just based off where you at, and that goes to a bigger issue, which I want to kind of go into with the people not wanting to work, right? Because he's saying that, like, if you got a call center, 911 call center, and 5 people are out, I know because I watch different industries where this job might be short this many people. I was in Wawa the other day. The girl was literally like taking the bread, the quesadilla out the oven, and then coming up putting a glove on, ringing people out. Yeah. I'm like, this is crazy.
People refuse to go to work.
I think it's people are in a different position now when it comes to their employers. They are in a position to where they now can dictate the terms where it used to be the other way around.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
when you think about pre-COVID, some were still doing 7.25. Maybe I'll give you 10. They were cutting people off as
Why
soon
would now
as
give you a sizzly? Say it on the phone. The day you sign up, you get a sizzly every day.
15 an hour, 18 if you're a shift manager,
Right.
two soups and a free
So it's almost like how the unions at one point transformed the work environment for employees. I just think that we are in that environment right now where employees are dictating what they're worth.
Right.
To your generation's credit, though, I've experienced, we're doing that container mall right there.
Yeah, I was looking at that a lot. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, that's going to
That's happening?
Yeah, that is at the turnaround 49th and Parkside. That old
Really?
turnaround. Yeah, we're going to do that.
Oh, wow.
And that's
Man, let's
23
clap it up for
different
that.
businesses that we're going to put with the Christmas Mall, and Jerry's Corner had a baby. It's going to be that. Okay. And we're taking people who used to sell stuff out the back
Jerry's
of their car.
Corner, wow.
You know about that?
Yeah,
Listen, they had some good.
Jerry's Corner and our Jerry's Corner was.
They had some good rotisserie wings at Jerry's Corner.
I ain't gonna hold you. You could get a good radio out of there at one point.
So,
and it went all downhill.
So if you were selling jeans out the back of your trunk, you'll be able to do that there on the legit tip. And we have a stage, outdoor stage.
Okay.
And a projector screen.
Sort of like what they attempted to do at the Piazza.
It's going to be
before everybody wilded out then. Exactly. Yeah.
Niggas start shooting up down there,
so
ruin that.
We did
like recently?
Like no, because they cleared them all out. But that's why they got cleared out, because they was down there getting busy.
But exactly what the Piazza was from you.
Yeah, so we interviewed 50 businesses already. And they all look like you, and they quit a job. You quit that good job? Yeah, I'm done. I'm going to gamble on myself.
Right.
I'm going to make these jeans, customize these hats, do this thing, and I'm going in there. And that spirit ain't from our generation.
No.
We was go watch people. Yeah. Like, I'm going to work here.
Listen,
Get my face. You know what I'm saying?
No, listen, that was
a bomb like Speed, but I'm gonna get the watch. You know what I'm saying?
That was my mother, and she was like, "Are you sure you want to leave the councilman? You can stay for 30 years. Don't run for office." It's like, okay.
I made the mistake of telling her when she first came, "You only got 5 years. Then you got to go. You too talented to be." She meant that. She left me in 5 years.
I mean, I can't if I want to run for office. Only have
6 months.
Yeah.
I think because you transitioned before me. You know, I'm still like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it goes all the way back to the conversation we had off air before the show, where I think people have just realized now my time and my energy can yield so many more dividends, so many more relationships, so much more. What was the term you used? Like as far as mattering. I can't think about it right now. But basically, just you can matter to so many more people in the short amount of time you have. If you're think about us with this, and it was wild because I was walking down the street and dude just walked up like, and, and because I could tell he was coming towards me, you know what I mean? And he got about where Broad Diddy is, and he was like, "Yo, I really, really love your show, yo." And I'm like, "Huh?" And he was like, "No, like your show is really, really dope." And I was like, "Oh, appreciate you." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "No, like my sister put me on." And he was like, I started listening to it. And I'm like, damn, these dudes funny. They make sense. Da, da, da. And he's like, then I heard like y'all serious shows, like the joint y'all had with Omar Tate, or the joint he mentioned the show with y'all. He's like, being able to listen to people from the city that talk like you, where it's like you can act silly and do Jones with Crip Mac and Spank Horn, but then you can turn around and have like elected officials. You can have the chef of the year. You can have this person on. He's like, so I just like the energy behind it. He's like, just seeing what y'all are able to do. He's like, it's to the point where like my son mentions like podcasting now as like something to do. And I guess that goes to the point what y'all say, where like, being able to show people like, yo, you started with nothing. Like me and you started literally like with a phone. Yeah. And done got to the point where we doing sold out shows and selling merch and everything. So it's like, it's dope. But I just feel like this generation, we've realized, yo, these phones don't turn off. Like my dad had a cell phone back in the day. He had remember this joint, like the he had to pull the antenna up. Them phones. Well, I remember my dad would walk in the house and turn his cell phone off. Yeah. Because now I'm home, the house phone will ring.
And it's on $42 a minute.
Yeah, that too. You know what I'm saying? Call me after 9 if you
emergency use only.
Please. You know what I mean? And no, that's real. And we've gotten to the point now where you can make money off your phone 24/7. So if I got this phone in my possession 24/7 and I can make money off of it 24/7, coming to work where y'all are like, put your phone away is crazy. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
You know what's interesting? It's like their generation put in 30 years, got the watch. Our generation, I feel like, is using our 9 to 5 to build what?
Yeah, build
wealth. Yeah. And now this generation behind us, they just starting off.
I've recently gotten into like investing, right? So like I've been doing a lot of that, reading a lot. Shout out Tay, we was together the other day. I've been reading a lot, just looking at a lot of like different, because you always would talk about it, and I'll be like, yo, Chad, like you go so fast, and I didn't really understand it. So it's like I'm understanding like day trading and swing trading, right? And then long term investments and this, that, and the third. And when it kind of blew my mind was when I really got into Bernie Madoff. His story, right? So he stole the $65 billion or whatever. Do you know what he hit off? The NYPD pension fund. Yeah. He got the whole pension from the police, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, your job will really have you put money into a pension fund every week.
And then they go give it to
somebody else. And then go and invest that money somewhere else to turn around and be like, yo, we'll give you $2,600 a month 35 years from now. And the whole time they're just flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping. And to the point where I started really getting into like pension funds and really trying to understand it. So I got into my pension fund and figuring out how much money I had in there. And then understanding that certain people in certain positions, they're allowed to move their money around at will, depending on who you're with. Right? So you can take your money in your pension fund and be like, I want to put that in the S&P 500. I want to put that on the NASDAQ. I want to put that on. We don't have that ability. So literally, I'll be honest, Lee has more money in her pension fund than I do after 5 years of where she's at, and I've been there 13 years. Yeah. So why on earth am I dedicating 30 years to the thought of this when I could realistically, I could do this in 2 months? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Financial literacy.
And that's where we are. We just have a better understanding.
Young people like yourselves coming in here courageous.
Right.
Like, I may fail.
Thanks.
Duh.
And the thing is, if you win, you're going to win so big,
right?
It takes the fear out of failing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
I think what it is, and me and my dad and my grandfather recently passed away, we had the conversation. And it was so funny because we were sitting there and we were talking, and you heard the episode, so you heard me talk about my dad. My dad right now is 72, excuse me. My grandfather, if he was alive, would be 102. About to be 102. So you figure I'm 37, 72, 102. My grandfather's view on his job was he loved it. He's like, I was mad I had to retire. I loved it. I'd still be working there. And it's crazy because you look at the pension in his situation, he actually lived on his pension longer than he worked there, and he worked 30 years.
Right.
He retired when he was 64, passed away when he was 99. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? So for him, he was like, I love my job. I would have never left. They had to force me to quit. I ain't never missed no days. Then my dad comes along, civil rights era, understanding responsibilities. He was the first black on our block in Penrose, 1970. He moved to Penrose. They hadn't even built Pepper and all that stuff yet. My dad was like, I didn't love my job, but I respected it because it helped me raise my family, do what I had to do. So I didn't love it at all, barely liked it, but I respected it enough to come every day and, dedicate myself to it. Then me, I come along in the crack era. I'm like, I'll leave today. If somebody offers me something better today, I'm out of it. And now these people like the Gen Z and the Gen Y, they like, what job?
Yeah, no. I'm
not even applying for a job.
I saw something recently. I think it was in Forbes, and they were saying that these the people, what's behind us? Gen Z is behind the millennials.
Gen Y and then Gen Z, right? Bro, come on, you're supposed to be useless.
So whatever the latest,
you're supposed to be useful. Sorry,
But you're useless.
my heart knew you're supposed to be useless.
whatever the newest present generation is, they will leave a job 3 times in a year, unapologetically.
Fact.
They don't care. Like that stigma of like, oh, you got to at least work somewhere 2 years. It's out the window. They don't care because they won't even put it on a resume. No. Yeah, I didn't even work there. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
no, they're coming in saying, what is the work-life balance and culture here before I even consider you?
You want to know what's crazy is? I know it because people have multiple resumes that depict multiple things. Mm-hmm. Like I have a resume that has all of my transportation experience. Like I'm 20 years in. Drove wreck chasing tow trucks, drove gas trucks. I got all my endorsements on my license. Drove cross country 18-wheelers, drove the bus. I got a resume for that. Then I have a resume that has my whole multimedia. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got different
aspects.
Yeah, you got different things out here. And I was explaining to one of the older guys in my job. I'm like, yo, look at this guy over here. He has a business. She has a business. Her and her sister do that. Him and his 3 brothers, they got the construction company. And so it's like at any given moment, him and his 3 brothers could get a contract from the city. I'm out of here.
Yep, it's a wrap.
Right.
Yeah.
You only have to, like you said, hit big once.
That's it.
You're set.
You're set.
And so that entrepreneurial spirit we're trying to bring to a micro area and let people feed off each other. And guess what? Every one of them had in common. They had a following on Twitter. Yeah. Like I was asking them, so how many people buy your shoes? Well, I do custom shoes. How many followers you got? 10,000. The what?
Right.
I said, and they buy from you?
Yeah.
And so this kind of thought is the reason why nobody wants to flip burgers.
Yeah. People understand multimedia. They understand engagement. They understand reach as far as like how to find people. They understand, some of them understand customer service and the fact that if you take care of somebody, you create that, that residual business, and it creates that referral base of a business where it's like you took great care of this person. Now they get you 19 more customers that you didn't have to go out here and hunt for. They understand that, and they're self-educated. They go to YouTube University. Yeah. They figure all of this stuff out.
We've watched viral moments make legacies.
Yes.
That's crazy when you really think about it. Like you look at, what's the girl from Abbott Elementary?
Kenta Brunson.
Kenta Brunson. Yeah. She went viral, 7-8 years ago?
Girl, he got money.
He got money, girl. Like,
and then she got a job at BuzzFeed. Then she did the Black Lady Sketch Show. And now she has one of the top-rated shows on ABC.
You know she went to school with Chelsea.
Oh, yeah?
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
She's the intern for me.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have a Kenta B favor in the mix somehow.
Yeah, we need to make that happen.
So to your original point about people not wanting to work, the upside of that is they want to work for themselves.
Right.
But let's have the it's a 2-pronged conversation. Let's have the conversation about what about the people that just no more PUA, no more PPP, and they just ain't working and they ain't doing nothing and they out here destroying the community. Right. What about them?
Well,
what do we do to fix that part of it?
I don't know. I think we have to incentivize younger people to not be those people.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the thing that I want to teach drug boys is, listen, you come with a set of business skills. You know what accounts payables are, accounts receivables. You know what marketing is. Sell something that don't get you killed.
Yeah. They got a longer shelf life on top of it. Like like 50 Cent made a proclamation years ago. He said, the average corner boy, you're gonna make XYZ amount of money. You're gonna pay out this. You're gonna have to get a lawyer. By the time you get a car, do this, that, and that, the third. You made minimum wage. You could have worked at McDonald's and nobody looking for you.
I like your business idea. I used to do that in another life. Used to finance businesses. I like going to yard sales, buy that unique table, this, that, the other, put it on
Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon seller account is free.
What?
It's free.
And so
you get a global marketplace for free. Like I sell, one of my business lines is I sell stuff on StockX and GOAT and all of that as a secondary retailer. Like I buy shoes, I buy
those sneakers,
merch, all type of stuff like that.
Rod Diddy makes me listen. And so when I found out about the secondary market of sneakers,
Yeah.
so what the hell?
It's outperformed the stock market the last 10 years.
That's the crazy, and that's more so what I was saying, where the 30, 40 and under, right? Millennials down to Gen Y, Gen Z. They figured out, like, yo, I can really, like, now you got NFTs. Like, I could take a selfie with you right now and get that off as an NFT if you become president.
Yeah, you mint it, put it on the blockchain, now it's an NFT.
Like how you like showing your photos, those NFTs out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, that's real. Like, you got young Milton Street at a protest first year. That's how it sounds wild, but that's really what they're doing. You got people out there that are mining. Like the whole Bitcoin thing, they just made something up. Like, yeah, we're just going to create a new currency. And the value might skyrocket, might go down, might go up.
Nobody knows who the founder
Nothing.
of it. It's all hidden under the blockchain.
It's all under the blockchain.
We can't point to like that's the founder of Bitcoin. They have ideas. There's theories. They don't know who the founder of Bitcoin is.
I was in the gas station the other day. The Bitcoin machine was working. The ATM was down. This is crazy. Like, this is just where we at. Like,
I get glossy eyed when
say
y'all
this
talk about
for
Bitcoins.
nostalgia. It's the last time you saw somebody riding the subway.
I
all
still read the
jokes aside,
paper.
there's a guy I work with. Shout out Lawrence. I hope he hears this, but he still gets the paper every day. And I joke to him, be like, "You're single-handedly keeping these quiet."
Hold on, I still get the Inquirer, the hardcore paper, because you don't get all the stories online.
Oh, that's a Tribune. I haven't seen a Tribune since I was in Hamilton.
I'm about to take you back. Do you remember the Daily News PM?
The AM and PM version?
Yeah, we used to get that show on delivery. Yeah, the Daily News PM. Yeah, real talk. But I just feel like at the end of it, in a grand scheme, people have now realized, like, yo, I don't have to like go to somewhere I hate.
Yeah.
And that's the bigger thing. Like, you see how I ask you what you do and you give me this description and you can talk so fluidly about it, and I ask you and you like, I love it. This is my passion and for the people. And you got people out here that like, you ever watch Bowling for Columbine, the Michael Moore documentary, and they broke down about the school shootings and how it led to this, or was it Bowling for Columbine? Was it the one about the water? It was one of them where he broke
Michigan.
He has Bowling for Columbine. No, he's Bowling for Columbine for sure. But he was basically breaking down how the young girl had got killed at school. The boy shot her. It was the youngest student ever killed by a school shooting or whatever. But his mother was riding a bus 3 hours to go work at a mall in Michigan. At the Mall of America outside of Michigan.
Yeah.
And he was basically breaking down how, you know, people are out here doing these jobs where they're underpaid. Think about having to travel 3 hours to go to work.
Yeah.
Your son, her son was living with her brother. The brother was selling drugs and doing whatever. He got his hands on a gun, took it to school. He told the girl he had liked her. And she, you know, little kids, they 5 and 6 years old.
Ew, you smell like Cheetos.
Ew, you smell, you stink. He went and got the gun and shot her. And not realizing, like, you know, he's affected by where he's at and what he's seeing. Is he not realizing, of course, you know, they can't even charge you when you're that young. You know what I mean? But Michael Moore broke down the bigger issue of people going to do this work where it's like even the guy on the bus was saying it. He was like, how far do you travel daily? He was like, 2.5 hours up, 2.5 hours back. And he's like, how much do you make working at the mall? He's like, well, I can make $8 an hour at the mall as opposed to $5 an hour down here. And he's like, so is it enough for you to live on? No, but it's better than the $5 down. And it's just like, yeah, you got that's done. Like, I don't have to go to work and be miserable and be underpaid you just don't.
You have the internet now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people, not even smart people, just enterprising people, period. They understand that it's like, if I have a product that people want and I can curate a following, organically or paid for, I can reach people and I can pull myself up out my circumstances. People have realized, stop trading your 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week for however much money and trade your time for amount of transactions.
It's the great resignation.
Right.
I mean, and seeing what COVID-19, what position it was putting people in to start making these decisions, because as I'm sure you noticed, work didn't stop.
No.
It just got more efficient. And you were not just working from 7 to 5, because, 7 to 8, you're traveling, then you're coming home, then you're working in between. But now you're just sitting at home and you're working through all that. Expectation of businesses went up. And you see, significant number of individuals resigning. There was a stat by the National Women's Law Project, and literally 2 to 3 million women left the workforce because of the added burdens that COVID-19 brought on. And not many of
in your life.
Exactly. And not many people came back to the workforce and pivoted to something else.
Yeah, I know from where I worked, and I watched it just how downtown was closed. The building was closed. They wouldn't come to work. But us on the bus going up and down the street, no protection at times, no nothing. It was nonsense. And a lot of people just was like, you know what? I'll holler at y'all.
So in the hearings we had at City Council, they would say that there were a group of at-risk homeless people that was taken over.
Oh, yeah.
And what was that like? I'm interviewing him now.
I can tell you 2 different situations with it where I know of a place that it was really, really bad. I don't know if you're familiar, but the airport parking lot was awful. Yeah. It was to the point you couldn't even go in that joint. Wow. They were literally telling employees don't go in there. I'm not talking about the employee lot. I'm talking about the short-term parking.
The economy lot or
the one that's 6-7 floors.
Oh, okay.
Because it was so much just homelessness, and they were breaking into cars and mugging people when they got out of the car. It was nonsense. Insanity. But for me with the bus, it was you didn't realize how bad. Because again, I was on the 9 and the 27. You understand what I'm saying? I'm out Roxborough, and then they stopped the 9 to where it was only the 27 running. So you go into a mall that's not open. You know what I'm saying? You're not really dealing with it until you come off the expressway and you hit Broad Street. And when you hit Broad Street, it was like Jumanji. Yeah. You know, it was just people all over the place, everywhere. People coming on the bus, you can't get them off, dragging things. It was
9th Street was pretty bad too.
It was nonsense. It was wild. So it's the COVID guy. I said the guy the other day. They're gonna do mad documentaries. On all of this because the effects of it were not even. The craziest part is he was saying how we haven't even gotten all the effects yet.
No.
Of what COVID
CNN
is going
already has one documentary out already.
The craziest part is in theory, COVID really ain't even done.
No.
We've just decided
as a nation that we've moved on.
Done with it.
Yeah. we cool on it now.
It's COVID exists, but we ain't talking. We done with it.
Yeah, it's like house parties. The first one was cool.
Once the Supreme Court tells the CDC kick rocks, it's over. It's no more public health crisis.
I went to the first game for the playoffs last 2 Saturdays ago, right? So we going in, me and Ra. They're making this big announcement because game 2 was Monday night. They're making this big announcement. Game 2, Monday night at 7:30, you have to have a mask. Masks are back. The mandate starts Monday. You got to have a mask. So I'm like, okay, and now we weren't going to game 2. We were going to game 1. We went to game 1. Nobody had a mask on. I told you the doctor turned around to me in the line. He's like, I'm a doctor. And I'm going to just go ahead and say it. We're about to put 20,000 people in here. All right. Making them wear masks on Monday does absolutely nothing. But whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we go in, we enjoy game 1. Now game 2, they say, because the mask mandate started back Monday. I'm just so oblivious to what's going on and I really think about it. Me and Kev wound up getting some tickets for game 5. Now game 2, you had to wear a mask. So game 3, was in Toronto. Game 4 was in Toronto. Game 5 back in Philly. We come, as we getting out the truck, I'm like, oh damn, I need a mask. He was like, you don't need it. And I'm like, what? And they like, yeah, the mask mandate is over. I'm like, it just started on Monday.
18th to the 22nd.
It was 4 days for the mask. I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
Mayor was catching so much heat. He said, listen, make up your mind. You want a mask or you don't want a mask?
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
Yeah.
People don't want it.
Yeah.
Them elections coming up, so.
Yeah.
People don't want it.
I want to talk about something more fun.
Okay.
All right. The Overbrook Night Market.
Nice.
Let's talk about that.
Fantastic.
Because apparently we got a budget, big one. You know what I'm saying?
We don't
We
have
missed
a
the
big-
budget.
we played ourselves.
Blew the budget.
Another one.
I know for next time. Thursday, May 12th, we got the Overbrook Night Market in 192nd Congressional District. Legislative District.
Happy birthday, Big Dan. We're going to give you a shout out.
Legislative District. That's the unofficial start to the TRPE tours. It's
Can we get some claps?
Yeah, it's a free event, y'all. I stress free. Just show up and pay for your food.
Right.
Everything ain't free, but to get in is free.
Right.
We're gonna be between 61st and 63rd on Lancaster, right there past Brook. And it's going to be a very, very dope event. It's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're going to have vendors, food trucks, and all that from all over the city, different tastes of everything, and we're performing.
Absolutely. I mean, you all are the featured act this year.
You get a food voucher.
You can get a food voucher. You can get a beer garden voucher. Y'all going to be in with the beer garden. So it's going to be super cool. Yeah.
I don't drink beer.
All right. What do you drink, Matt?
What do I drink? Coke Zero.
Okay, we will make sure we
Red
have
Bulls.
A Coke Zero budget for Matthew.
we will make sure we have the cookout cooler in the back so you can grab that.
Okay, what's up?
But yeah, so it's going to be a super dope event. The first time we did it was in 2019. I want to say that was pre-COVID.
Oh, yeah, because COVID stopped. Oh, that's.
Oh, yeah. But no, we had a phenomenal turnout. We had close to about 40 to 45 food trucks. We had close to like 17,000 people come out that year. Wow. We had a lot of great sponsors. And
Definitely undershot ourselves.
It's all right.
20,000.
It's all right.
I need $1 for everybody out.
The goal is to really bring those type of activities into.
I'm not gonna lie. I've gone to a couple food truck events, food markets, and I thoroughly enjoy them. You remember the ones you used to do on Ridge Avenue? They were super duper fun.
Yeah, they just had one this past Sunday, and I went out there trying to track down some of the food trucks that are going to be at our event. So you'll see that on my social media account.
Okay.
Going to different ones. But I mean, we have 30 vendors this year. 30 food trucks. 37% are black owned, 30% are women owned.
Shout out to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Wanted to be intentional about that. But I mean, it kind of goes back to the conversation about having a bold vision as a mayor, having a bold vision as an elected. We want the experiences that you can experience in a Manioc or a Center City and, our backyard. And that's, essentially what it represents.
Yeah,
It's transformative.
Absolutely.
You go out there, it's not like you're walking on Lancaster Avenue. It's like food, smells, sounds, entertainment. You guys, it's going to be a really nice, safe environment because we're going to lock it down.
Yeah.
And one of the goals.
I was going to say, do I need to bring my security?
No, so we do have, we're required to hire the local police district, and we also have our own private security as well. So you all will actually have your own private security.
Okay, cool.
All those fans,
Celebrity status.
Yeah.
Right.
Montreal security.
Right. I mean, the goal of the exercise is one, to, of course, have a good time that night and to bring people back out, but to, shine a light on Overbrook and Overbrook Farms and Lancaster Avenue and, try to rebuild it as a commercial corridor that, is vibrant. So this will be something that we'll be hosting annually and it should be a good time.
Yeah, now see, clap that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that type of stuff where it's like,
bold vision.
Yeah, like bringing the community out where it's like, you don't. This is something you like how I just said. I know about the ones in Roxborough because they did it all the time. You oh yeah, they just but our communities don't necessarily see these type things. So and like you said, being intentional about it being 37% black with the food truck, 37% of them are women who own that's dope. And everybody has a story when it comes to food. We learned that from Omar Tate. Some of the greatest answers you ever heard in your life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's when he told me, I'm like, yeah, sure. That's a no brainer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you want to be a part of something like that. You want to do things like that. So that's cool. Now, we not allowed to curse.
I would prefer you not to.
I was told to prepare a family-friendly show that encompasses food culture, community, and talk about West Philadelphia, some of the people that's there, stuff like that. So we got it together. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, you writing the notes.
You're not going to curse.
We're gonna do a clean show.
Yeah, I can do a clean show.
I look forward to the curse.
Nah, I mean, I'm sure you all can. So at first I was asking the question, Brad Diddy, like, should we come up with topics? I was like, no, I like your flow. I like your vibe. I love what you all talk about.
cursing is it's one of them things where like, 'cause, you know,
Little parsley.
Yeah, you know, but you don't want to get up at the. Look at this nigga. Like, you don't want to be that boy. Like, yeah, like I don't want to do that all night.
Yeah.
Like you know, and just because you know it's gonna be kids or elders,
Right.
you know, all that, you want to put together something. The problem with it is we not really put togetherers. Like we kind of just flow. So
Right.
you write something down for me. You know what I'm saying, y'all.
Passing some 3x5 cards.
She got notes.
Yeah. But
Make
no,
sure I'm not
it-
forgetting anything.
No, that it should be very dope. You know what I'm saying, to see everybody there. Hopefully, everybody come out. You know,
I
have
would
a-
list our sponsors, but they do not support the show.
No,
So
no.
I will hold on to that.
No, it's once they start supporting the show.
Well, we could mention a sponsor that got us paid. We could mention that sponsor.
Oh yeah, Aetna.
Aetna. Okay.
Aetna.
Shout out to Aetna.
Shout out to Aetna.
Yeah,
What
shout
is
out to
it?
them. Clap that
Aetna
up.
is AETNA.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen Aetna. Yeah, they like the
Insurance company.
insurance. Yeah, there you go.
Now I'll let you know what other sponsor is gonna deal with the balance.
They do the back end.
Yeah, so you can give them a shout out.
That's cool as all hell. The with the let me ask you this, because I got a lot of flack for this. Do y'all like the birria tacos?
I've actually never had them.
Oh no.
No, I've
He's
never
like,
had
I ate okra. Old black man. I ate okra and chitlins. I ate
He's a Muslim.
But I do love the salmon cheese stick.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of the
Oh
salmon
man,
cheese
those
steak.
things are great.
They are.
So good.
I ain't gonna hold you, yo. Salmon is
I like my salmon in like one piece.
I ain't gonna hold
Or
some
you.
good.
rice.
I'm not a crazy salmon person.
Nah, I'm like a bear. I eat salmon all the time.
Right.
I like steak. So it's like the salmon, I'm taking that. But that's good. You know, that's very good. But I'm not like a craze like how you like a salmon cheesesteak. Like
Teriyaki.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I've actually had a ribeye cheesesteak.
Oh
That's
wow,
That's
that's great.
amazing.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, prime rib cheesesteak.
Yeah.
That's real good.
That
But,
down
like,
at that
I
fancy
like
place?
steak though. I like beef. So it's like, you know, I'm not a real big chicken person either.
Yeah, I had my first salmon cheesesteak actually at the night market in 2019.
Nice.
It was a place off of 52nd and Market. Black woman, super good.
Yeah, true story. My first night market in on Ridge Avenue was where I discovered street corn.
Yeah.
I never had it before,
Yeah.
and I was like, I saw people walking around eating corn like with like cheese and paprika. And shit. I was like, yo,
So
what?
one of the people that want to go into that
It's gonna be at the night market.
cinema, and she's gonna be at the night market.
Nice.
Is going in there.
You gotta do
She
a
doing street corn?
video.
Yeah, it was my first time having it. I literally got the street corn. I was like, oh, because I love corn. I was
Yeah.
like, this is amazing.
This is right.
And I went back up. And she was like, oh, you doing that? I'm like, yeah, you know, and I ate that. And I was like, I'm going to go back on that. And she saw me. I'm like, it's me again. I was running through the joke. But that's where I discovered that. So night markets is cool. You know what I mean?
The night market is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
different
I'm
type.
glad that it's coming to West Philly.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I do have to shout out my my counterpart that's partnering with me, Overbrook West Neighbors. Brad Diddy sits on the board. He sent me a text reminder. But yes, so I mean, it should be a good night.
Text you that?
Yes, he did.
Yo, bro, I can't be straight every 10 minutes. Let them know I'm on the board. I just ain't doing nothing. Yeah.
But no, it's going to be an exciting time. I think that's the great thing about these type of events. You get to taste food from different
Right.
locations. But I think, again, the important thing is to get people to come back to Lancaster to spend money at the local stores, but then also to find out where the food trucks are across the
Exactly.
city and then start patronizing them there.
Yeah, that's definitely dope. You got anything else you want to throw out?
I mean, we here. I mean, I don't have anything in particular. But
Who y'all got in the finals? You know what I'm saying?
Can I say, Philadelphia fans, y'all really break my heart. Like, y'all just was writing out the Sixers. Like,
I mean, we be betting.
dang.
So,
Dang. Right.
First quarter.
Oh, man.
listen,
I literally like looked up when I was wondering did they win or not, and I found out that they won. I was like, oh, it was like 4 games to like 2. Y'all had them like they was 3
well,
to
the
4.
thing is,
about
they
the-
were up 3-0, and then they lost 2 in a row, and Embiid hurt his thumb. So, and Doc Rivers is the coach.
yeah, he's
so-
a very, very, very bad coach.
When
Jimmy
people,
Buckets.
I thought y'all liked him when he came.
when you lose 2
we
in a
like the
row,
idea of it, but in reality, Doc don't coach. Doc's idea of coaching is like, man, stick him.
yeah,
He going off.
And Jimmy Butler is a real dude that you would see in North Philly playground. Like
For sure.
He's not a punk. He will
sure.
take your heart and take your lunch.
The dope thing about Jimmy Butler is every time I think he finished, he come back and drop like 47 or something like that. He be like, "Oh, you can still play."
Yeah, it's gonna be a good tough series. I'm liking a lot of unders. It's gonna be a good. Tough
It's gonna be like a 90s
this
basketball.
is where I do not
but
have
if
any
we get
notes.
past them, I think we can win it.
I ain't gonna hold you. Ra said when we were discussing futures bets, and Ra was like, I ain't gonna hold you. I think the Sixers can make it at least to the Eastern Conference Finals because of the road that they have. They don't have to play a powerhouse until the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. So you don't have to deal with the stretching of the Bucks. You don't have to deal with the defense of the Celtics. So it's like the Heat have good defense, but offensively they just can't match.
Yeah, I love the Celtics team. I've fallen in love with them. They all that. They're all that. And their players, their 2 star players is playing like stars right now.
You know what I loved and I hate that I love it? Ben Simmons didn't even get to play. That punk couldn't have played in West Philly courts, North Philly courts, South Philly courts. He'd have got chased off.
I feel like it shines a light on mental health.
We defended Ben Simmons, and I want to go on the record. We defended Ben Simmons on the show a lot, and I want to go on the record and saying he's indefensible. He is ridiculous. That he is not injured. He just is refusing to play basketball. They call it work circumvention in the
I
corporate.
ain't gonna hold you as somebody.
He's circumventing work.
As somebody who gets out of work a lot. All right.
Are you at work right now? Are you working now?
No.
Oh,
I'm telling you, this is first experience. And so when I saw that he said he has a mental block that can trigger his back, I'm like, that's
going in Arsenal.
That's genius. That's genius.
Ben is ridiculous.
Because what it is like she said, you can't play with mental health now.
No.
The second I say it, you can't.
All the protocols, all
That's
the
a
antennas go
lawsuit.
up. It's a wrap.
It's out the window.
I think
I have one other question. Y'all from Philly?
yes.
Will Smith.
Oh man,
Smack or not to smack? That is the question.
mental health.
No.
Our take on the conversation was this. I think there's so many factors at play that Will has been a good guy in a proverbial punching bag in certain situations for so long, he's snapped. I don't think that he came to that award show like if Chris Rock say something, I'm going to smack Chris Rock. I think he got there and was like, you going to let this nigga talk to me like that? And he smacked Chris Rock.
I don't even think it was that. I don't even think it was Jada. I know, to your point, all right, we're going to use what you just said, mental health. When you mentally, you can go off the rail for anything.
Right.
Somebody can say something to you when you getting off the train. Somebody can, your baby mom can text you. Your young John can text you, like anything. And it's like Will got in there. He probably had a big bet on Baylor. Baylor lost. His young John texting. Well, I see you there with your chick. Don't text me tonight. Then she got this bald head. And then Chris Rock say so. You like, man, I'm slapping. So you really just don't know. Like it just. But they're gonna milk it, and you see Jada was like, "Yo, the table coming back, and we healing, but the table is coming."
This is how ridiculous the whole situation is. The Oscars told Will, you can't attend for 10 years, but you can still be nominated and win. That's not a punishment. I don't gotta come here and do the dog and pony show with y'all, but I can still win and be honored for my accomplishments. This is not punishment. Thank you. Right. I'd rather simulcast anyway. Like. It's like the difference between you got to go to the office or work from home. Right. It's like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I just was Will drawing. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, he shouldn't have did it.
Do I understand it? Yes, 100%. Because like I said on the Patreon, it really don't matter. Every black man is a split second away from losing their shit. It don't matter if you are the poorest black man or if you Mansa Musa. If somebody say something you don't like, you could lose it at any time. Yeah. I was telling a story. One of my coworkers called in. He was like, yo, y'all got send somebody. They got knives on each other. She was like, who? He was like, people on the bus, 2 dudes. They just pulled out knives. He's like, oh man, we're gonna send rescue and this, that, and the third. She called me back like, are you okay, operator? He was like, oh yeah, they got off. It was just like, yeah. One of them was just like, man, I'll see you later.
You ain't even worth it.
You ain't even worth it.
You a job turkey. I'm out of here.
And went on about their day. But you know what's going to happen? When he going to laundromat and somebody that took his clothes out of the dryer, he going to stab him.
What?
That's just life. It's like people are walking around on edge about a bunch of stuff.
Yes, they are.
Like you just said, COVID and money and not working and people dying. Think about Carl Anthony Towns. He lost his whole family this year.
COVID, yeah.
He lost 6 members of his family to COVID. His mom, his grandfather, his sister. So he on edge just on the strength. You know, anything could get said to him and he's, reacting crazy. You just don't know. So it's like, we can speculate all day, but don't nobody know what Will was really thinking in that
Will
moment.
should have just waited, followed him to the bathroom.
And put the paws on the
Old Black Panther on this. Like, no, man, you can't do that.
Or I'd have walked up on the stage, I'd have whispered to him, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. That's what I'd have said. And walk back.
Whisper to him, I'm gonna kill you when you get off the stage.
I think everybody needs to check in with a therapist. They need to stop
my
the
advice,
red table talks.
Look, I'm with you. My advice to everyone is get a
Yeah,
therapist.
No, we to wrap we talk, we joke and play around all that. That's what we do. But the therapy side of life, like being able to get those thoughts out, those feelings out, it's super important.
Oh, absolutely.
It's super duper. Like we don't realize. Like I'll be honest with you. Like just being frank, when my mother passed away, we didn't do therapy,
Right.
and I saw the effects of it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Because like the way relationships kind of broke, and we kind of weren't as close as we were, and even the way things are now in certain instances, it's like we should have done therapy immediately after that.
Yeah, when my father passed away, I did therapy immediately.
Yeah, and a lot of things you just it's tough processing thoughts.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a traumatic situation.
Right.
And it's also not fair to use your friends and family like a therapist
Right.
and not get actual therapy.
That too.
Because it's like you don't know what they are dealing with.
Exactly. And then you start the transference of that negative energy and your thoughts and all of that to them, and you don't start the healing process.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, definitely go talk to somebody.
Right.
Even if you cool, get a therapist.
Yeah, I've realized that. Like as you make more money and achieve more things and experience more things, it's like it gets to the point where like the therapy gonna be like a kick it.
Yeah.
Like we ain't even dealing with no trauma no more. Like now I want to talk about business thoughts
And aspirations.
and am I tripping for wanting this Lamborghini? All these different things, and it's like that's cool to be able to have somebody who's a professional that you can go bounce those things off and let somebody in front of the stop and go. Because he don't know what the hell you're talking
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Old elephant.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's one of the things I really appreciate about our generation and those that are coming behind us, because they're taking that very seriously. Like that is a priority.
Ain't it crazy how like
No.
yeah, I was about to say like mental health was imagine the mental that like people were dealing with, like especially back in the day, like coming out of the wars and the
Assassinations,
all of that stuff, the
yeah.
civil rights, the sit-ins. Like you said, he showed me the picture of his first march where they told him, "Yo, you in high school, go home so you don't get arrested." Like that's trauma to have to deal with those type things, and and the older people, they didn't really. It was like always kind of like the brute thing for men, where it's like, yeah, I never seen my dad cry, and it's just like, yeah, that ain't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Choke mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you work it out a different way. You should have been in front of a therapist. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Real talk.
True indeed.
That's true.
The therapists have therapists. So.
Exactly.
So when we open the container village, can I get the Morgan Cephas price?
Come on now.
Do a live cast there?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I want the Morgan Cephas price.
We need a little kicker on it, little something, little teriyaki sauce on it. But we make it work.
We're gonna need Morgan to alter the notes. You know what I'm saying?
But we'll be there. You know what I'm saying? Because I was fixated on it. I couldn't take my eyes off. I'm like, yo, where is this going to be at? Like,
I've been staring at this.
yeah, it's brilliant.
49th and Parkside.
That's beautiful, man. I love it.
I've been having a hard time.
Come on. What, buying them?
Yeah.
And there's a whole surplus of them down by the port that they can't get rid of. Right. So they go for about $2,000.
For that whole thing?
No, for each one.
Oh, you want to go get one of them tonight? I was like, what?
Like who? We got to call Banks with the truck.
Yeah, with the truck at JC Wheeler, man.
But then you gotta renovate it to make it a store.
Yeah, you
gotta put some work into it.
And that goes back to what's some of the best things about this job, because you can be transformative in that way.
Yeah, that's amazing, yo.
Right.
Yep.
There's been so much talk, like in rural Atlanta, about container communities because the city is so priced out. Now people that were doing real estate development are doing container communities in like the sticks and all of that stuff.
Double stack them, put a set of stairs up.
They actually have a show on HGTV that retrofits container homes.
Y'all seen a triple stack with a swimming pool on the third one. It had a deck with
Now, what is it's a container?
They're shipping containers.
It's a shipping container. Your bike
Renovated
your
to
bicycle
be whatever
came
you
over.
want.
Oh, now I'm peeping.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Well, what did you think it was?
I was lost. I mean, you just right. Just going along with
you
it.
don't say.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I was just going along with it. Now I see it. All right, yeah.
No, that's amazing. No, we'll be there. Whenever that is, we'll be there.
Appreciate you.
Even we got to fly back from Miami to do it.
So make sure we get this one. They're going to sign. See, graffiti is cool in here.
That's cool.
They're going to sign
Sign
you
the four.
as well. Remember, you're going to be the first one. That's a virgin wall.
You got to make sure you get this on camera, Dan.
I gotta get this on
I got to be the first one. I'm hating.
Go ahead, do your thing.
We signing real names or
Real name.
aliases?
So whatever your tag is.
Yeah.
Whatever your tag is.
Stripper name.
How did I know he was going to put it right in the middle? Because that's what I was going to do. I was going to write right in the middle of the four.
Oh. Go
How
get
you
it.
take? First of all, how you taking my live podcast TRPE idea?
Oh, because sometimes you originate good stuff. And we share.
We do share,
We share
Councilman.
now. Share alike.
Oh, it was. That's all you got.
Your turn, rep.
Okay.
You too. Come behind the camera. Come on now.
Brian, you don't get to.
So what they're doing now is doing graffiti up on my wall.
Come with her note.
Look at it. Note take.
Yeah.
That's a central signature.
Big Daniel.
See, Dan was one of the B-boys back in the day.
You can tell.
He did graffiti.
Dan's up at the No, that's cool though.
Chelsea got a sign too.
Does she?
Come on, Chelsea.
Ain't nobody.
C2 consultant.
Nah, she ain't nobody.
Yeah.
She is my.
Hey, listen, my fault.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Diddy. You can.
Brian, like, no, I got nice penmanship. Let me show you.
Got the best penmanship in Overbrook West neighbors.
I'm just saying, you know, back in early Twitter days, C. Diddy and Rod Diddy was related.
Right, cousins.
Ride Diddy 215.
This was great, man. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all so much. We want to continue to do these shows, these community catch-ups. Y'all are some of our biggest supporters, and we're some of y'all biggest supporters also. We appreciate the fact that y'all always have us in mind when y'all are doing stuff and including us in it. It legitimizes all of the hard work and the stuff that we putting in and exactly what it is that we doing, man. And it's also people like Catherine Gilmore Richardson, other people in the political sphere that mess with our show.
We literally were at an important dinner at the councilman's house, and she got up and said, "We got to go to TRPE."
Left the dinner, left the food.
Right.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
It was dope.
Anything y'all want to shout out before we get out of here?
Brian is still signing. Yo, by the way.
He putting the anagram up. This is hieroglyphics, and then when you decode it, when you read it backwards and forward, it say the same
If you
thing.
hold your phone up, it'll bring up a pop-up, yeah.
I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you for, when I was coming up, it was Georgie Woods, the picture I showed you, talk show. There was Mary Mason, who kind of, you translate well, meaning public policy sounds good.
Right.
It's translated to a group we would never get to talk to.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's real.
And they love it when y'all come on.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
We have a very specific type of listener base. Like, we have, like, I tell people, like, after we did our live show in December, I was telling everybody, like, this is the audience that everybody's chasing. Like the people that like those quality people that people want coming to their venues and all of that and patronizing. Like we have that audience, and we absolutely love all of the people that listen to the show, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think you all, really curate conversations that, have an impact to the culture here in Philly. So, I mean, just having that platform, infusing, just multiple conversations, politics, entertainment. Literally, when anybody asks me, like, what do they talk about? I'm like, they literally talk about everything. And you can really relate to, the show. So, I mean, I thank you for, just kind of creating that space. And we were around during the days when you stopped. Yeah. And I was like, Chad, you got to figure this out.
Yeah. We figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was having a conversation. I'm going to do this now. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and it was me and Rob. We went to eat. We went to have dinner. We just was talking about life. He lost a close friend this week, right? And we were just having a conversation about, like, we were more so talking about, like, purpose, right? And then, we kind of transition into when something's meant to be, it's just kind of meant to be. Right. And we started this podcast, and we got to a point maybe like 3 years in where it was like, all right, we're putting money into this. And I don't think people really understand that part of it. Like, to make something successful, you're going to have to invest. You're going to have to invest sweat. You're going to have to invest money. Yeah, you're going to have to invest time. And we got to a point where we had invested, I want to say we were probably about 15 to 17 grand in, just with studio time, stuff, advertising, marketing, all these different things. And we were both kind of like frustrated. We were both kind of like burnt out. And that's kind of where the break came from, where I just was like, yo, I'll holler at you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And through it all, we still talked daily because we talk daily. And at that moment, I knew I was 100% like out to the point where you recorded with other people. Yeah. And
dope shows, Pastor Carl.
The girl, like everything. Yeah. And he literally came to my crib and was just like, I can't do this without, it has to be me and you. Right. And we sat and strategized and just thought of different ways and different things we could try and different things we could do. So for us to get to this point now where we're selling merch, selling live shows, having this Patreon, doing all these different things, going here, we're doing shows in different parts of the country. You know what I'm saying? Coming up the world. Like, we're going to be at FIBA in Qatar in November. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't do that enough, where it's like, you could have easily just been like, yo, I'm going to Miami now. I'm going to do this show with Javi. I'm going to figure it out. But you came and was like, no, it got to be me and you. Me and you is the jump.
That's the magic.
Right. Yeah. And, it's dope to get to where we're at, to where people reach out. And I got people that's like, yo, y'all get me through the day. Y'all help my work week. Yo, I told you, I had somebody come up on me, was like, yo, I just got like the biggest credit card I ever got just for me listening to y'all Patreon and just doing the things y'all was saying, do on there. And you don't realize that you're like affecting people. I guess that's what your whole point. You don't realize it until you hear it or see it. And you just like, oh, damn. Because now it's to the point where when we don't drop, people are sick.
Yeah, where's the show at?
People are frustrated.
Yeah. We notice.
No, that's real. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out. Like, that's just real.
Thank you.
Y'all are funnier than the dudes in my barbershop.
And that's another thing we talked about was relatability.
Right.
Where it's like, not everybody has that. Somebody might have book smarts out the wazoo, but are you relatable? And that goes to you, like you being a counselor, you're relatable just because you grew up in the area. You know the area.
From the neighborhood.
You are the area. You are Philly. You know what I mean? So there's somebody like where you look at like a Kenny. He's not necessarily relatable to everybody. And that has nothing to do with being black or white. Right. It's just who you are as a person. There are white people that are relatable. You know what I mean? Jerry Seinfeld is one of the most relatable shows ever. Thanks. But that's what it is. Yeah. And me and you have that where it's like, my man said it best the other day. He was like, you have an it factor. You've had it your whole life. He's talking about me. He's like, you've had it since I met you. You just always had it. Chad has the it factor. Y'all together, it's like a super it factor. And that's what it does. It just, like.
We have a Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre type of chemistry. Right.
And I love being able to do these shows where we can sit down and have these discussions about the city, about the goings-ons of where we live, because at the end of the day, we do live here. We all live here. We all make money here. We all go out here.
It's in the fabric of who we are.
And at the end of the day, regardless if I leave, I've had over the last couple of months, like I said, I've just been kind of like soul searching, like figuring out exactly what it is I want to do and where I want to go. It don't matter if I move to Madagascar. I'm from Philly.
Right.
So you're going to always want the best for the city you in. Yeah. Like, it annoys me when I see 420 carjackings already this year. That's because we weren't a carjacking city. Like, it annoys me when I see Steve Kill ain't been asleep in 8 months. It kills me when I see these things because it's like we not supposed to be like
me
this.
and Dan was trying to research something the other day. Like, let's see what Steve got going on. See if Steve said anything.
Steve got them gloves with the fingertips missing. We're on scene out here. Like, he ain't been asleep in months. And it's like, you know, it's not supposed to be like that. No. You know, I know the Philadelphia that, like, I grew up in and the Philadelphia that my parents and my grandparents always spoke about where it was really brotherly love. It was really like a communal aspect everywhere you went. And it just somewhere along the line got shifted and just disappeared, even down to like, you can't even say nothing to the little kids on your block at times because they'll go get their mom and then the mom will go get the new boyfriend. And next thing you know, it's World War IV on the block. And you like, how did we get here when all I said was, yo, young boy, stop cursing?
Right.
It's crazy you say that. We do a 7 a.m. roll call with our schools in the district. The phenomena we're dealing with now is not so much bad kids, it's bad parents.
Oh, yeah.
Coming to the school talking about, I'm going to fight your teacher to prove I love you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it is a different Philly, but if it's going to get better, it's going to get better with all of us.
Yeah.
Y'all can't leave. We'll find you.
We out. But we appreciate the fervor.
This is what you going to hear.
Yo, what's going on, Kurt? I was looking up there, baby.
Another 30-degree day, huh?
Yeah. Eagles blew another one in the fourth quarter.
I just keep getting them, Jones. All right.
Ain't nobody getting no coffee this morning. Nah, that's real, man. But we really appreciate y'all, man. Like, we thank y'all for being able to do this, come down here, do this, be the first to sign the wall.
Yeah, it means a lot.
The 4th is the 4th district, of course, right?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's Mr. 4th
Mr.
District.
4th district.
The 4th district.
That's lit.
Now y'all gonna come up
first
to
ones
my
on.
office the next time?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm up in Overbrook Park on Haverford Avenue. Think about where the Popeyes is on City Ave.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what y'all gonna do about the traffic that Popeyes creates blocking City Avenue?
crazy.
The bottlenecking is crazy up there, Joe, yo.
I don't know.
They dropped them chicken sandwiches. They had City Line blocked up for weeks.
Somebody the other day was like, I still want to know what made y'all act like that about them chickens.
Over them chicken sandwiches.
Yeah. I'll never forget. Girl walked into my job with like 9 of them in the bag.
You said it on the podcast.
Y'all want chicken sandwiches?
You want chicken sandwich?
I mean, I got these Jones. I have. You know what I'm saying? They here.
I went to Popeyes on Hunting Park one day. I gotta tell this. I went to Popeyes on Hunting Park, and it was a line out the door. And I was like, oh, no, I ain't even. Mind you, I don't want a chicken sandwich.
Right.
I wanted chicken. So I got out the car, and I seen the line because I parked over the Domino's. And I came up, I saw the line. I went to turn around. I was like, oh, no. And I went to turn around. The boy was like, you want chicken? Like the Popeyes work. And I'm like, this is Popeyes. Are y'all not saying?
You got ribeyes?
He was like, oh, no, this line is for the chicken sandwiches. But if you want chicken, you good.
You right out.
Yeah, so I was like,
We got a speed line for the chicken.
So I walked in, was express, because you just getting regular chicken. And I walked up to the counter, and they was cool with it. Like, as I got to the counter, the girl came out the back with like a batch of chicken sandwiches. She started loading them up in the joint or whatever. And I was like,
Was this recent?
this was when it first popped. And I looked at the line. I was like,
Let me get one of them chicken.
and the girl was like, nope, you gotta get one. I tried it. I was like, let me get one of them chicken sandwiches.
Gotta try your game sometimes. You gotta touch your hand.
Yeah, that's where you at with it. Yeah. She was like, no, you gotta get in the line. Or you want a chicken sandwich? I was like, that's cool. Don't worry about it.
I've actually never had the chicken sandwich.
You never did?
I never did.
I mean, it's pretty. It's not that good.
It's
pretty good.
Is it better than
It's
Chick-fil-A?
not amazing.
Yeah.
Better than Chick-fil-A.
Better than Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A to me ain't that great though. I literally tweeted that yesterday. Y'all gonna have to accept sooner or later Chick-fil-A is not that good.
I love Chick-fil-A.
I'll tell you where got a better chicken sandwich than all of them. Federal Donuts.
Federal Donuts chicken sandwiches out of this world.
Blow them all out.
Out of this world.
Donuts.
I just can't get with the chicken and the donut thing.
But it's separate. It's not a chicken on a donut.
No, it's not chicken on a donut.
It's just a chicken
It's a
sandwich.
chicken sandwich.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm
do that.
telling you, go to Federal Donuts.
Yeah,
Whole Foods.
it's gonna change your life. I'm telling you. Don't sleep on Federal Donuts.
The Popeyes joint was good though. Like I said on the podcast, remember when we did the review. I was like, I didn't understand people like stabbing people, and I would argue over it. I wouldn't fight. I curse somebody out over, but I wouldn't fight over it. It's not that good. But it's to me, it's better. Chick-fil-A is like hit or miss to me at this point. And I think what it is
I'll give you that because pandemic Chick-fil-A is not the same as pre-pandemic.
They was
Chick-fil-A.
different birds.
They was different birds.
Them birds was light skinned. They
killed them birds themselves.
They was way different birds. You know, they was what you call a young chicken, a hen. Yeah, they was hens. They wasn't full grown chickens that they was cooking. But to me, I think what it is the volume. Like, have you been to any Chick-fil-A recently? It's 400 cars at every Chick-fil-A.
But they move so efficiently. I'm telling you, if the city moved like Chick-fil-A and PPA, we'd be on fire.
I saw the video where it was pouring down rain, and the Chick-fil-A girl, she had on the I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Had the poncho on.
Take your orders with the iPad. Get them in and get them going. But it's so much that I think sometimes they'll just undercook the like I've had bad Chick-fil-A as of recent, and it just was like, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, they got a good system there. Their general managers make so much money.
I could believe it.
They're like 300.
I can believe it.
You got to put a certain amount of time in before you can become a franchise.
You know what's become
owner,
one of
but
my
they
favorite? This
general
is
managers
random as
make
all hell.
bank.
We can end it. You know what's become one of my favorite? Because I like docuseries and stuff like that. You know what's one of my favorite Jones to watch now? The Foods That Built America. Have you gotten into this at all?
Gotta watch
No? Dog. They had every episode is about different things. Like they had an episode about popcorn and how Orville Redenbacher took over the popcorn thing, whatever. So the one I watched the other night was about fast food. Did you know Uncle Dave Thomas was the dude who created KFC?
No.
He started at KFC with the two brothers, and he told them about the drive-thru. They didn't want to do it. He told them about staying open late. They didn't want to do it. So he broke off from the dudes who had KFC, and he started Wendy's in Ohio. Named it after his granddaughter. Her name isn't even Wendy. That's just what they called her because she would always be outside in the wind. And it just became a thing. Started Wendy's. It blew. The dudes who had KFC, they didn't want to use some of his practices. So they basically went back and was like, oh, Dave told us about the drive-thru, so we're going to start a drive-thru. But the drive-thru they didn't perfect because it was just a drive-thru. Like you would drive up, order your food, pay for your food, get your food, and leave. And they was like, that caused such a backup in the system. So Dave was the one who realized like the drive-thru will work, but you have to order, then pay, then get your food. And he's the one who create. Dog, it's a wild documentary.
So anybody that can make chicken sandwiches, educational and entertaining subject, y'all the bomb.
No, I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. And it was showing how the dude who did Taco Bell, his name is Bell. That's his last name. Yeah. He basically wanted to do fast food in California, but it was too many burger joints after the explosion of Wendy's.
So he did tacos.
So he would hang out on some he was a construction worker. So when you doing construction work in California, you pulling out the pickup truck at Home Depot, I need 4. Right. And they hopping on the joint. And he was like, they was always eating tacos from Mexico.
So he like, that's what it
is.
is.
He's like, I'm about to start slinging tacos. And that's how he came up with Taco Bell. It's the craziest docuseries ever. But every joint has a different thing about food in America.
And that's why you got to come here with notes, because you don't know where the conversation will go.
Now I got it.
Yeah.
They go from murder, mayhem, education
to tacos.
Hey, listen. It's a good docuseries. It's called The Food That Built America.
I will absolutely watch it.
Nice.
In closing, we're going to let y'all go. We're over 2 hours now. We appreciate y'all time. Thank y'all. And again, we appreciate all the support, all of the upward mobility y'all help to provide to the platform and to the show, and the fact that y'all so available to always come on whenever we need y'all. So thank you very much. Special shout out to Brad Diddy for helping to orchestrate everything and putting this together. Follow him on social media at Brad Diddy 215. Chelsea's in the building. Shout out Big Dan. Big Dan's birthday is coming up. Oh yeah, right around the time when we start touring and all that. We got a lot going on, man. Got to get our collective lives together. Day of the Night Market is Dan's birthday, so have we take cash, we take tips. In the words of my cousin Stevie G, I'll take tips. Oh, regular at Brad Diddy on social media. No 215.
Oh, you changed it?
He streamlined it.
215.
I always thought it was 215. I always thought it was. Oh,
all right, cool. Make sure y'all check this episode out all podcast platforms, YouTube. Subscribe to us on Patreon. Get y'all tour tickets if y'all don't have them yet. Officialtrpe.com. Click the tour tag. All of the markets are there. The night market show is free. I stress it, free. Y'all ain't got to pay for it because Edna already paid us. Make sure y'all there Thursday, May 12th, 6 to 10 p.m. We're going to be hitting the stage in the beer garden right around 8 p.m. So make sure y'all in attendance. Come get some good food, some laughs, some entertainment. Take some pictures with us, with the councilman, with State Rep Morgan Cephas, and everybody else that's going to be floating through the atmosphere. We're going to have a fun, positive, upbeat night, no nonsense, and it's going to be a dope event, man. Shout out to everybody in the TRP Nation. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We out. Peace.